Hello, folks. Something always has to go wrong. You never know what it's going to be, but it's always something. Something will always go wrong. If you knew what it was that was going to go wrong, then it wouldn't go wrong because you would prevent it. Which is why it's always something, not always the thing. It's always something that's going wrong, but you never know exactly what until after it's happened. And then, you know, knowing, not much use to you, is it? Just not very much use to you at all at that point, huh? Alrighty. What are we going to do today? We're going to play this video game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I did not buy with my own money. Nor did anybody buy it and give it to me. I got it because of PlayStation Plus, which I guess technically, I don't know how that works. I don't know if, like, you know, if Sony play, if, like, there's, like, a flat thing of, like, hey, we're going to pay money for you to be free on PlayStation Plus this month, or if the developer gets some kind of percentage based on downloads during the PlayStation Plus, you know, whatever. Regardless, I've purchased no loot boxes. Though the loot box, the unopened crates thing, this prompt barely ever shows anything. I think even if you are paying money, because like the whole crate system has been neutered, there's like a major chunk of this game's UI. Even after it's been redesigned, because it's been redesigned and updated in more recent versions. Major aspects of this game's user interface design and multiplayer design is built around loot box drops that don't exist anymore, which is pretty hilarious if you ask me. Here we are, folks. One of the most important games of the decade. Nothing to do with the content of the game itself, only to do with the way that it has impacted international law. Yes, EA's Disney's Casino. EA's Disney's digital Star Wars casino. That wasn't even a casino for more than like 2 days of its lifetime. It was just that way in the beta, and then people figured out how bad it was, and they complained, and EA shut it down really fast, but it was too late, because the scum had already revealed itself to everyone, everywhere. Ah, well. So I only got this game earlier this year because it was free with PlayStation Plus, and I honestly didn't even mess with it for a while. I added it to my library because I thought maybe one day I'll look at it. I've been playing it a bit over the last couple of, I guess, months or so, whatever. It's enjoyable. The fact of the matter is that I just like Star Wars, and I'd like to shoot a thing with a Star Wars gun, you know? And EA has failed to make any Star Wars games, so my options are limited. And the only Star Wars, despite LucasArts stopping making good video games to pursue the Star Wars cash cow perpetually, like, the only games they actually managed to make in the 360 PS3 era was like the 2 Force Unleashed games. That first one was like decent. As I understand it, the second one was not good. Apparently it was like 4 levels, and the last level was just the first level again, but backwards. So really good stuff. Clearly, they were just trying to cut costs and save up some money for 1313, you know, that video game that never happened. Kyle Kieske? Jacob, my illegal gambling boxes. Yeah. They got rid of them. It wasn't illegal. That's why they had to change the law. The laws actually haven't been changed. There's like a couple of countries that changed laws regarding loot boxes. We'll talk a little, for anybody who doesn't know the history of this stuff, we'll talk about it in a little bit, just a second here. Yes, Ninja Bunny, BB-8 is a hero. I don't believe that BB-8 was a hero at launch. BB-8 got added in, and then so there was a counterplay on the other team. There is this thing from Last Jedi, BB-9E, I guess is his name. Yeah. Which has a slightly different moveset from BB-8, but if they hadn't given the villain team kind of like a counter unit, there could have been some balance issues. But yeah, I haven't played as BB-8 at all. Joey's says that BB-8 is his favorite because BB-8 is tiny and hard to shoot, and he can do like the cable spin move that's in the middle there. Basically, BB will just stick his little wires out and spin around and do melee damage. So you can just cruise at people and spin around and melee people to death. So that's a thing. As you can see, I've never played as him for even a second, but whatever. And then, what's this one got? Shock spin, so just a change of the same thing, and then a couple of different abilities. I just think a crippling a gambling addiction is neat, says Noruega. Indeed. Indeed, I agree. I just think it's neat. Video City 1 says, did anything ever actually happen with the laws changing or whatever? Was that just the flavor of the week? There were, I forget where, there was some country somewhere in Europe that made significant headway on it, but laws take a long time to change. And really, the fact of the matter is not even that laws got implemented. It's the fact that like the negative PR was insane. Like EA literally went so hard that they ruined it for everybody. Even if the laws hadn't changed, nobody's gonna like push to where this game went for a while. At least not high profile games for a bit. I'm sure there are gonna be some games that attempt to do stuff like this. But it's like it's the PR was so negative. Like, I remember people joking about that year, like, reps from different companies, like, you know, at E3 or GDC or whatever, and the EA guys being like, hey, guys, how's it going? And Blizzard and everybody being like, you have literally ruined this for all of us. Should have given them a gonk droid. Gonk droid's the ultimate war robots. I agree. I think there should have been a gonk. I want to say that in the first Battlefront, and not in the PS2 360 PC era, I mean the first EA Battlefront, one of the game modes involved escorting and protecting an indestructible gonk droid. I wouldn't know. I didn't play that one. I watched gameplay of it a couple of times. I feel like that was a thing, but I could be mistaken. It was one of the 9 game modes from the original one that everybody hated, other than like the main 2. The heroes versus villains stuff in that game was okay, and then there was the couple of main modes, and there was a bunch of like just side modes that like 1 or 2 of them were kind of interesting. The rest were just kind of silly. But yeah. So for anybody who's not familiar with how this game was supposed to work, let's take a look at the systems here, shall we? So this game has what they call star cards. All right. Well, first of all, it has the expected stuff. It has unit appearances, right? And you want to do your loot boxes to get your special costumes for your characters, right? This stuff you kind of expect. Oh, cool! I pulled Hoth Luke. I pulled Yavin Luke. I pulled OG Luke. You know, I pulled Pantaloons Sidious. Look at me. I'm wearing my bathrobe now. This is what I wear when I go to the Sith spa. To get skin like this, you have to exfoliate, young Skywalker. So this is the kind of stuff you expect. Emotes or whatever. Voice lines. Ooh, wow. My big favorite, you guys. My big old favorite. Where things got a little bit more complicated was with these star card thingamajiggies. All that kind of stuff we kind of expect, right? Well, first of all, all of the heroes that you see here, I can pick and mess around with, and in a game, I could play as these guys whenever I wanted to. In base game, you would have to grind in-game credits or pull loot boxes to have some of these heroes be available to you. It wasn't just to get their skins, the availability of being able to play as a character. To not spend any money. I think the people on Reddit did the calculations. I remember this going around. People figured out the number of hours and number of matches you would have to play to get the appropriate number of credits to buy Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader in the base version of the game. And it was like you would have to play for 30 hours or something like that to be able to purchase Luke naturally with in-game currency. And that's not spending money on anything else. So that was a big tick against the entire system. Was literally the cool part of the game, which honestly I barely even touched these guys. You can tell I barely have any of these heroes who are really even a decent level. But the part of the game that most people are going to be really excited for, and the most unique feature of the game, is locked behind paywall or absurd hours of gameplay. But then we get into the star cards, which instead of having perks like Call of Duty or gun upgrades or whatever, or equipment, we have the star cards. Now, the way that these work are, in any given character, you have 3 abilities. You have your L1, your left bumper, right bumper, and then both at the same time, typically. And the way that these work is there's a default loadout for each character, but then you can also impact different abilities that you have on those buttons with the star cards and also affect base attributes. So let's look at a couple of these things that are available here. Assault training. Get a small amount of health for each defeated enemy. Okay, so slight health regeneration upon killing somebody. That's pretty good. Now, granted, I think this unit has like 100, like 200 or 150 health, so maxed out only giving you 40 back isn't even like a third of your health. But decent amount. You can die. Time to kill in this game isn't too slow, so usually you can kill people before they have the chance to like heal themselves, so it's not that big of a deal. But then we've got reduced damage at critical health. Weapon cooling states are longer, which means your reloads, basically you don't have ammunition, you have cooling states, and when you hit a little QTE to cool off your gun, it'll last longer before it overheats again. Defeat an enemy with a headshot and your weapon will produce less heat, which means you can fire it for longer, until you overheat next time. Health regeneration delay is shorter than normal. When you defeat enemies in melee combat, your abilities refresh and you regain a small amount of health. Now, down here are usually where it gets... Now, the boost cards... Interesting. Down here we have improved thermal detonator, which is just your grenade, right? Your grenade has a larger blast radius and a shorter recharge time. It hits more and you can throw more of them, right? Now, as this is currently set up, number one, you can already build a unit who is just straight up better than other people in the game. In Call of Duty, you know, back in the old days, I don't know if they do this in the new ones as much. Back in the old days, you had your Juggernoob players, people who use Juggernaut, which just gives you more health, which is pretty big deal in Call of Duty, where the time to kill is pretty fast. And as you play that game, you get really used to the rhythm of I have to land this exact number of shots to kill a guy, which means that often if you're a really, really good Call of Duty player, you're actually going to pull up on the trigger before the game is registered the person is killed because you know you've put enough bullets into them, which led to people who had Juggernaut often in like Call of Duty 4 and 5. You would be shooting at a guy who had Juggernaut on, and you would let up because they should be dead, because the time to kill is fast enough for you to not realize that they have Juggernaut on because your reflexes are just this way, and then they would kill you. So there are already abilities like that you could just level up and you could get something like Juggernaut. But that was about the only way that you could change the base performance of the person you were playing as. You could boost the damage output of a character in Call of Duty, like, marginally, but not by a lot. Where this game gets ludicrous is, oh, I can just have a better grenade. I can regenerate. I have an ability I can turn on where I just get health back. I can have a better shotgun that I can use more frequently. What do we got down here, I wonder?
Jacob, you better not be on the Space Casino again.
I'm explaining how the Space Casino used to work and how EA intended for it to work, okay?
Everyone hated this in The Last Jedi. Why are you going back to the Space Casino?
That was the real reason why people didn't like the Space Casino in The Last Jedi. It reminded them of this.
It reminded them of this.
A better sentry gun. Here's a grenade launcher. If I upgrade it, I can use it faster than other people can, right? Now, right now, the way that the game works is you level up a bunch as your character, and you can unlock these cards, and you can just make them better, right? So, and then you basically you level up, you get to, like, so for example, these top cards for the heavy are locked behind. I think you have to get to, like, level 40 or 50 or something. And then you also have to earn enough skill points to be able to spend on the cards. And the quality of, like, I guess, like, for example, this card here is maxed out. I wouldn't have been able to max out this marksman card until towards the end, like, until well after it had been available. I have to, because it caps the level of cards based on your character's level as well, right? Or by the class's level. In base game, you could just buy loot boxes and get this stuff. Like, if I just bought a bunch of loot boxes when I booted the game, I could just get the better grenade instantaneously. So there was a literal demonstrable power gap between guy who just spent $50 on the game and guy who's playing the game. Like, you could spend money and just have more powerful characters. You could get a guy who just healed faster and had better grenades.
So wait, go back to the one, just the flat damage thing. What was it, 40%?
Where is this?
This one.
When you defeat an enemy with a headshot, your weapon heat will be reset, and your weapon will produce less heat until you overheat the next time.
Okay, so it's 40%? So that's basically like having a clip 40%
That's so what that means is that if I land a if I land a headshot on a guy, my gun instantly reloads, and the magazine becomes 40% larger. Not land a headshot, if I kill with a headshot, which is harder than you would expect in this game because the time to kill is pretty slow.
Yeah,
it's not super duper slow, but it's slower. It's slower than you might expect. It's slower. It's not as game breaking as you may expect.
Okay.
Especially because at this point everybody who's playing this game pretty much has this stuff.
Okay.
But anyway.
Oh yeah, you have 4-star stuff like on everything, so I assume it's not that hard to get.
Well,
since you haven't played this game that much.
I've played a decent amount. I wish that the PlayStation 4 would track hours.
Yeah.
I know that the PlayStation 5 tracks hours, and apparently it will even go backwards and track your old hours on PS4 games. Because I guess the data is there. They just don't let you access it on the PS4 for whatever reason. So I couldn't tell you how many hours I've played, but the quantity of credits that I have is pretty high. I haven't spent money on anything. As you can see, my heavy is level 52. My assault is almost level 40. Officer is level 30, which I really don't play officer all that much. My specialist I played because I really like snipers, and I wish that I could play sniper in this game.
But I'm guessing it's like 4 shots to kill.
You have to land like 4 shots to kill as a sniper.
That's horrible.
And it's like, oh, once somebody realizes they're being shot, they just start dodge rolling and they get out.
And also with the officer, from what I've seen of officer, it seems pretty darn useless unless you have like a team of guys you're playing.
Once you get to level 50, you can get this gun, which kills in 2 shots.
Oh man.
I have been killed by this gun in 1 shot before, so I assume that somebody knows something I don't, and eventually I will learn to use this gun.
Maybe firing at their crotchal region kills them in 1 hit.
It's
You're
possible.
Probably shooting at the head.
I don't know.
I'm guessing the crotch is a 1 hit kill.
Maybe in the wiener. We don't know if wieners exist in Star Wars. We do know there are breasts in Star Wars. We don't know about wieners.
Don't know.
There's no page for wieners on Wikipedia. There's only a page for breasts on Wikipedia because breasts are mentioned in one Star Wars book somewhere.
Oh, why is...
Which means they have to have a Wikipedia page.
I hate Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff, man.
Oh, people are saying that I didn't acknowledge the audience. Hello, audience. I'm here now. In truth, I was never really gone. No one's ever really gone.
No one's ever really gone.
Yeah, sorry, audience. I'm completely and totally tasteless.
Juggranoob is the perfect Star Wars name. This is Video City 1. He makes a good point.
Yeah.
Juggranoob is it sounds like a Star Wars name. Juggranoob. Yeah, so how you guys... Yeah, we guys have been watching Joshua anyway because he's been in the Jedi playthrough, even though that was filmed in July. Well, it was filmed in December and July, but whatever. So yeah, I really don't play heroes much that often in the normal multiplayer. When I'm in the heroes versus villains mode, maybe I just haven't spent enough time with them. I don't understand how to play the lightsaber characters. The only one I've had any success with is Darth Maul.
I'm guessing because he can block more stuff.
No, not even. I constantly use hit and run tactics. I just go, woo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I do like what Palpatine does when he spins into people in Episode 3, and I just fly through melee units, and then I dodge out of the way. I don't actually engage people as Darth Maul. Primarily, I play as gun heroes, and primarily I only play as them in the heroes versus villains mode, because there will be the rest of my team will be Jedi, and they'll be over there, and the other team will be Jedi, and they'll be over there, and I'll just have a gun, and I'll just be shooting them in the backs, and it takes a long time to kill a Darth Vader with a machine gun, but if they're busy fighting a Luke Skywalker, and you just keep shooting them in the back, eventually they die.
Darth Vader's got that voodoo hide.
He's got that voodoo hide, man. Lando's pretty fun. I enjoy Lando. He's enjoyable. He's got thermal heat X-ray vision, dude.
Wait, what?
He can throw down smoke grenades, and then he has a thing he can activate where he can see. A lot of the heroes have thermal smoke vision activation stuff. We also have our Donald Glover appearances in here, but I have not spent the money on any of these, unfortunately, because you got to spend the cash to get skins.
Gotcha.
Or you got to buy crystals to get the boxes.
Oh, God.
I have 110 crystals, not because I've spent any money, but because there are a handful of in-game objectives which do get you free crystals.
It's like when you're playing Warzone and you get the COD points when you get to level 30 on the
Put my eyes in the light here, and I look like Captain Kirk now. It's very dramatic.
Oh, man. So proud of you.
I think that was
that's
pretty dramatic.
That's not great.
Yeah, who cares? People will live with it. The sun will move, and then it won't be a problem anymore. Anyway, the only things I've spent cash on in this game is I've bought a couple of the clone trooper costumes that aren't available by default. Because
that's good. They have 21 clone outfits. They know what's really important.
Well, that was part of an update that they did because there was a lot of complaining that the Galactic Republic era had not a bunch of stuff.
Gotcha.
So there was a major update that added in both. That was when General Grievous got added. You remember? Everyone's favorite Star Wars character, General Grievous. Here is a JPEG. Because I want to say that the initial roster was the top 2 rows, and Finn, Phasma, Grievous, Obi-Wan, Dooku, Anakin Skyman, and BB and other BB. I want to say they were all added later.
Okay.
I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure they were all added later. I think Finn and Phasma were both added like a month or 2 after the game came out to correspond with The Last Jedi's release. And then these guys were all added significantly later on. Worth noting, because I have very conflicted feelings, because I like Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah.
I cannot stand Anakin Skywalker from the movies.
Yeah.
So it's very weird, like a handful of, because I've played as him occasionally, because sometimes, like, because there are no gun heroes in the Republic maps, so I'd have to play as a guy with a lightsaber. It is very confusing to boot it up and see Hayden Christensen and hear, if I can make him say the lines. Say the lines. Say the line.
This is where the fun begins. You call this a diplomatic solution? Obi-Wan's gonna kill me. A very wise Jedi once said, nothing happens by accident.
It's the good actor from the TV show.
It is.
And what's really weird is that you boot it up, and sometimes you start playing as him, and he says, "I don't like sand. It's sort of coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere."
Wait, what? He says that?
Yeah, and
That's
it's
a line.
Yeah, he says that, and it's the good Anakin from the TV show.
No.
Now, what's great is you can buy.
You gotta buy his. Yeah, it's his clone outfit.
You can buy the Clone Wars outfit, and then if it's from behind and you're hearing that voice, it's just the good Anakin. It's amazing. It's
Why
an
haven't you
incredible,
bought that outfit
because
then,
it's a lot of
Jacob?
credits, and because I don't play as him enough to justify
you're
buying
right.
it.
You don't have that many credits.
And then it's a lot of credits.
The chat can't see how many credits he has. He has 250,000 credits. Yeah, there it is.
It's a lot. Listen, look, 40,000 credits is a lot. It's a pretty good chunk.
I'm just saying, to save yourself from Hayden Christensen, no price is too
And then you
great.
can similarly get the
That's not necessary though, because Ewan McGregor's already great.
But it sounds like a TV.
It sounds like Titus.
Yeah, it sounds like, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who voices Titus, among other things. He does all kinds of stuff.
That he's Titus and he's Obi-Wan. I can never.
He's a
find
good
that.
actor. He's a really good. He's got a lot of range, man.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of range. Yeah. So basically, when they did the kind of Galactic Republic era support thing that added in the Geonosis map, a couple of other things, and so let's just look through the things. So we got normal snowtrooper.
Yeah.
Normal snowtrooper, shore trooper from Rogue One. We got normal battle droid, red battle droid, pilot battle droid, jungle battle droid, training battle. I want to see these got patched in as well. Because the battle droids had 16,000 variants to sell more toys.
Well, exactly.
You weren't around for that. Well, there were so many battle droids.
You're telling me it's really hard to not put these into Battlefront?
I don't want them there.
I
They're
don't want
lame.
them there either, but they might as well add more content to the game.
Now the human good guys are pretty boring. You just get different species, but I guess that's fine. Whatever. So the clones originally did not have much. Now they have Phase 1 and Phase 2 variations. So you have all
the only good part of the prequel trilogy.
The only good part of the prequel trilogy is that you get stormtroopers who can have good aim because they're the good guys.
Yeah.
Which actually means they're not, because they're barely even in the movies. They're in 5 minutes of Attack of the Clones, and they're in the background in Revenge of the Sith occasionally. Yeah. The actual good thing is the Gendy Tartakovsky cartoon, and then the full cartoon.
So I'm guessing that the 501st is the most expensive by far.
I have no idea. I don't know what their prices are. I think it's the is it the five? Yeah, it's the 501st is Anakin's, right, with the blue. Yeah. They're you know them because they're in one scene in Revenge of the Sith.
Correct.
Because they follow him when he marches on the Jedi Temple.
No, that's not how I know who they are.
Yeah, that's who they are though.
Oh.
The only time the 501st shows up in the movies is there's a bunch of blue soldiers behind Anakin when he walks into the Jedi Temple. And then they're also the protagonists of Battlefront 2. I mean, the original Battlefront 2. I mean, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, there's a bunch of these things in here. A bunch of them are available by default. I think the only one I bought was this one because I wanted to have the cape for because normally you only get the cape and the shoulder pad for the officer, and I wanted to get it for just normal units because it looks cool.
It looks cool. So are there no ARC troopers in here?
We'll get to them in a second.
Ah.
These are normal units, Joshua. You have to go to your special units down here.
Are you kidding me? That's a special unit?
Yes. Because I never play as heroes because I'm too busy playing as these guys. The Enforcers.
It's Republic Commando. That's
sick.
Sick.
I never play as the Jetpack Troopers because they suck. Okay. And the I mean, I'm just probably bad. I started playing them a while ago and I did decently. I have level 8 now, which you can level. The first couple levels are really fast. And Infiltrators. So across the different types of armies, the clones get clone commandos, this is the only other place where I've bought skins. Is I bought the oh no, hold on. So yeah, there's Wookiees. There's droidicas.
No match for
clone commando.
droidica.
Yeah. Indeed. Hold on. Crap. Work with me here. There we go. So yeah,
I can't tell if this is a bad interface or you're just bad at using it.
Yeah, whatever. I haven't been in this game in a little while. So that's the default, is the expected. And then you can also get this thing and this thing. And obviously I bought this thing because why wouldn't you?
Sick.
So you've got the clone commandos. You have this guy. He's the one he's for the
That's terrifying.
He's for the resistance. In that whole unit.
That man, look at his face.
Yeah, that's the species of guy who gets his head chopped off at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker. He was added in as part of the Rise of Skywalker stuff.
I don't remember a single scene from that movie.
Yeah, I know
it was like a fever dream.
I know you don't. So basically the thing is that a lot of the armies just were in base game were lacking one of these classes, and it's only after multiple patches that every army has at least one of each type.
Gosh.
So that was added into the Resistance relatively recently. The Enforcer for them is obviously the Super Battle Droid.
Yeah.
Death Trooper for the Empire.
Okay.
Flame Trooper for the First Order.
Yeah.
Wookiee, that is for, I think you can also get him on some of the Clone Wars maps, but it's mainly for Rebels.
Yeah.
And then also you can get this on some of the Empire. I'm sorry, some of the, whatever.
Yeah, CIS.
Yeah, Droidica was added in. Droidica was also added in as part of the Clone Wars expansion stuff, I think. Again, I only started playing this game relatively recently. I'm going to get some of this stuff wrong.
Oh, everyone's going, they fly now in chat.
Yeah, I don't care about they fly now. Who cares? Literally, who cares?
I just kind of erased that movie from my memory. Someone's saying if they can get a review of me reviewing episode 9. No, that means I would have to watch it again.
James Arnold Taylor.
I would actually have to try to follow the plot instead of just getting whiplash.
Different jetpack troopers.
Yeah.
There's skins for a couple of these, but I'm not going to bother to go through them right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one that flies now.
He flies now.
People are like, that's so ridiculous.
Fly now.
That's ridiculous. There are jetpacks throughout all of Star Wars. What if they hadn't seen jetpacks before? It's really simple. What if the First Order just hadn't had jetpacks? Like, it's not that stupid.
I think it's...
Don't they know that Boba Fett is a character in Star Wars?
It's the fact that it's really quippy. I
really don't care.
That line isn't the meme for me as it is for a lot of other people, but I will agree that line is stupid.
I really don't care. Anyway, so you're asking, here's the ARC Trooper. He's part of the Infiltrator class. Typically, these guys are good at scrambling radars or whatever. Mm-hmm. Though honestly, he's just my kill guy. I just kill a lot with him.
Kill move.
This guy was also. This is also
that?
part of the Resistance. I also think was added in later. The Resistance did not have a ton of support.
Oh, look, he has a knife gun,
units.
just like Solid Snake.
Yeah. Also added in as part of the Rise of Skywalker stuff. Obviously, since he's a new character. He plays funky, but it's interesting. His gun's really weird. It's got a bunch of different weird attributes. All of his stuff is about, canceling health regeneration on opponents. Like, his grenade doesn't do a ton of damage, but it stops enemy health regeneration and stuff like that. This is from Rebels. The officers.
Yeah, the guy that the one guy is with the weird beard. Yeah.
Yeah, the Security Bureau, which somebody pointed out. We were talking about during the Jedi playthrough. What's the you're saying what's the equivalent of their internal investigative unit?
Yeah.
And somebody said it would be the ISB probably.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they actually have one of those.
Well, and they don't do crime investigations in the same way that they're
more like the Department of Homeland Security more than anything.
Anyway, So the Ewoks are I've discovered that like the Resistance and Rebel special units are all funky and weird, and I don't know if I'm bad with them or if they're just bad. The Ewok seems to be primarily good because he's small, so people don't see him. He seems to be primarily about debuffing people. His bow's just weird. Like I've had successful bits where I suddenly killed like 5 people with it, and then other times I just couldn't do anything. So I'm probably just bad.
It's funny. Whenever I see an Ewok, I just think of people who are like, oh, Star Wars didn't care about selling toys until like the prequels or the new movies. And
oh yeah,
like,
dude.
And I see Yub Nub.
I can't believe Disney tried to make it all about money.
Yub Nub.
It's not like George Lucas said in interviews, no, I know Kasdan, I don't want Han Solo to die, because if Han Solo dies in Return of the Jedi, then people will be sad and they won't want to buy toys!
That was very loud, Jacob. You should probably keep it down. See? Now the dog is barking because he's upset.
Representation of the Clone Wars TV show here, because these guys were introduced in the CG show.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He has thermal vision and smoke screen, so he can throw down a smoke bomb and then see people through it. And he also has a Metal Gear Rising sword.
Oh, holy crap. He has a high-frequency blade?
Yeah, he has a high-frequency blade, which in Star Wars is called a vibro sword, but it's basically a high-frequency blade.
Yes.
Yeah, so he can whip that out and attack people with a sword.
I'm the KOTOR guy. I know about vibro
I know
swords.
you know. I know you know. Oh, you know.
The thing that actually makes ranged combat that makes short-range combat viable in the Star Wars universe that they just forget about.
Anyway, I only used an AT-AT for the first time like yesterday, and I did quite well. I killed a bunch of people, which I guess is to be expected, but I'd never even used it before. And then the Starfighter mode is actually good because it's made by Motive.
Was it an AT-AT or an AT-ST that Joey got an 84
I couldn't tell you.
streak with?
You can get into these, but only on certain maps, and I've never
I think that's
bothered.
what he said. He got like a 90 kill streak in during the Fallen Order playthrough.
I've never bothered with it. Anyway, we'll just do this. We'll just get into it. We'll play a video game now.
Yeah, instead of just talking about said video game.
Uh-huh. We don't need a Republic Commando remake, HK. We just need a sequel. We need Imperial Commando.
No, what we really need is for the Command and Conquer people that are somewhere in the basement in the EA labs to make an Empire at War sequel. I'm kidding. No one played that game but me.
I played it.
Well, yeah. And that's it. No one remembers Empire at War. Probably because it's probably super, if I went back to that game today, it's probably like terribly balanced and the AI sucks.
It's a passable, like it's a casual RTS.
And also the fact that it's like isometrical, you know, and I mean like from the troop perspective, like the Empire plays completely different from the Rebellion, and if you have the DLC and you get the Consortium, then they play insanely different. It's like completely 3 different play styles. It's really interesting.
Ooh, nice. Majestic. Hold on 1 second. Do I have in here? I gotta check something real quick. Nobody say anything. I gotta check something.
I wonder
real quick.
who you want to win Game of the Year with the freaking FF7 art.
What? Shut up. Here we are. Yeah, hold on. I saw a glitch, so it just reminded me of the
Hit me.
the Jedi taking over. Yeah, here it is.
Oh god.
Glitch that I saved a while ago. That match is starting, but who even cares?
Who cares? Oh, make it stop.
Yeah, Anakin, it's me, Sheev Palpatine.
Death is only one person achieved.
Oh, Yoda, you old sponge.
you old sponge.
Death is a concept invented by the Jedi. I don't even know how to spell it. I was kidding. Now I'm going to sit in this chair and regenerate my tiny body. Anyway.
Oh god. Don't worry, it hasn't started yet.
What am I playing as? I'll just take Assault. Why not? Who cares? It has started. This match is ongoing. This is in the final phase of this match, actually.
Wait, oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
These things are multi-tiered.
I'm not a fan of. I know it has to happen, especially in games like I don't know, like, you know, Counter-Strike and stuff like that, where if you lose a player, you're basically just screwed. Like, I know they need to allow like hot joining, but it really, like, especially in a game like this, like near the end, I feel like you don't.
These matches are so big that like it really doesn't matter. I'd rather have it. If people left, like you need it. You need hot joining in a game like this because matches are too big otherwise. But yeah, no. So basically, these are multi-tiered adventures, and we are now pushing into a separatist ship and trying to destroy it. The ground battle is over at this point.
Yeah.
In this mode, I don't think they could put. Where are you going? That's not the way. That is not the way. That wasn't a Star Wars reference. He just was literally going. It wasn't. It wasn't. He was just going the wrong way.
Yeah, he hasn't even watched The Mandalorian.
I know what's happening.
No, you don't.
Not friendly name. The Resistance show is for kids, so it's really not a fair comparison. Like, people are like, oh, the Resistance show is so stupid and for kids, and it's like, yeah.
Because it's for kids.
Because it's for kids.
Dude,
Does anyone remember the Droids show?
Oh, God.
That happened.
No, see, for me,
Remember
it's
the
like,
made-for-TV
it's
Ewok
like, it's
movies?
very clear. It's like, it went from... It's very clear just based on channel. 'Cause it's like, the Cartoon Network one was, like, for young adults. Because it was
Barely.
on
They had to
Network,
censor
and
it.
And it was barely. Like, they had to censor a lot of it. And it was like the next... Rebels was on Disney XD, so it was toned down from Cartoon Network. And then the third one's just on regular Disney Channel, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's going to be for younger people because Disney XD is their older demographic channel.
Someone made a Star Wars thing that isn't for me. Oh, no.
I mean, that's the thing for me. It's like, I can't look at all of Star Wars media because there's so much crappy Star Wars media already in circulation that if I got mad about every single piece of it, well, my life would end.
Hey, who cares? Who cares about one thing? Not for
care.
me. Not for me. Not for me.
I feel like you're in a position that's very exploity.
Not really. I'm pretty exposed here, actually.
I mean, yeah, from that one side, but I mean,
Yikes,
Yoda
these
is
guys,
already
we are
different.
not making any progress here, and Bosk is throwing Digoxin at us or
Wait,
whatever.
why is Boss here?
Because there has to be there aren't a ton of bad guys with guns. Most bad guys have red lightsabers. So they had to come up with some alternatives. I'm being killed with a vibro blade.
Which network was Droid's cartoon?
Droid's cartoon, I don't even know. It was like
That was
five.
in the 90s, right?
No, it was like in the 80s, I think.
80s.
It was like 5 episodes long. I don't know if it would aired on TV. It might have been straight
There
to
was
video.
also
I have no
there was
idea.
also a video game attachment to Star Wars.
There was also a brief Ewoks TV show. I'm pretty sure. In addition,
that was a special.
no, there were 2 made-for-TV movies. I think there was also a cartoon. I think I could be
God.
mistaken.
a
There was a
cartoon
lot.
as
Listen,
well?
there's a lot of Star Wars crap, and everybody's like, "Oh, Disney's making too much Star Wars crap." They're making less Star Wars crap. Remember that time I was talking about earlier, but this before you came in? Like LucasArts used to make video games, and then they decided, but why won't we make video games when we can just make 2 Star Wars games a year?
So yeah, someone just put yeah, this is why you don't watch Mando because of Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is a tiny part of Mando, dude.
I haven't watched.
Like
I
honestly,
haven't.
yeah, no. This is just someone in the chat. I would say if you just don't like Baby Yoda, he's barely in it, like at all. It's mostly just a space western, and he's like the dog. That's the closest equivalent I can think of. He's like Ein.
I haven't
in
had time
Cowboy
to.
Bebop.
I just haven't had time to watch the whole thing. I've
It's-
watched people's like reactions and stuff, so and I've like watched clips. Like I know everything that happened. I just didn't take the time to watch the whole show. Which I have a Disney Plus account that I use occasionally.
Yeah,
so it's not like
I used his Disney Plus account to watch the show that you didn't have. So.
I'll watch it probably like in these coming weeks. I've been reading about it as it's been going on and watching
Yeah.
scenes, and you haven't gone around and watching
I'm
it
actually
yet.
willing to stay blind on things, and you're like, no, I have to be
I didn't
spoiled.
tell you anything about it.
Yes, but you have to be spoiled on every time.
I don't care. I just don't care.
We're gonna need to take a step back and recapture some of those command posts.
All right, so in this mode we got pushed back. This mode can go on for 16 hours.
Wait, what?
This mode basically somebody has to win, and there's a neutral phase, and then one way or the other way.
No, it's like that one Team Fortress 2 game mode, except it keeps going.
Sometimes when you load into Supremacy, which is what I'm currently playing, sometimes when you load into this on Supremacy, you'll get a map where it's just control more points and get your meter to 100%. And then other times you'll get into a map and it's like, okay, and now go take over the enemy's capital ship. And if you
Okay.
lose, you get pushed back here.
Okay, so it's like the Insurgency game mode, except there's no time limit, basically.
Yeah, it's super well designed.
Oh, that's nasty.
Joey and I, when Joey and I were playing this, we've only played this together once, which we need to do more of it because it was fun. But like we tried doing this, and like we've been on like chat on PlayStation or Discord or whatever with a couple of us other friends. So it wasn't like we were just talking and killing time, so it wasn't a big deal. But eventually, after we finished one, it took us like 40 minutes, and I was like, okay, Joey, we're not playing this effing mode anymore. I want to do something else. So we went and played other stuff. We were still playing this game, but just other modes. The only thing is, nice. This mode is basically how you get locked period stuff, where it's just like you're gonna get the units that you want and the teams you want. And I just like the clone stuff because, like, I don't like. So, for example, playing as the normal units, the team you're on doesn't matter. But like, if I get slotted as Rebellion, like, I don't like any of their special units. I don't like the Wookiees. I don't like the Jet Troopers in any class, and I don't really like the Ewoks.
Why don't you like the Ewoks, Jacob?
Because I don't know how to play them. It has nothing to do with me not liking Ewoks or whatever. It just has to do with I don't know how to play them. And then somewhat similarly,
There's a droid right behind you, by the way. You suck.
I was looking at meters in OBS.
Why do you suck?
I was looking at meters in OBS. Who cares? Anyway, point is, if I'm in the Rebellion ones or whatever, like, I have nothing to spend battle points on because I don't want to play as Luke because I don't know how to do Jedis. Usually people are, taking the heroes anyway, so it's hard to even play as them. And then, like, I don't like the special units. I can barely play the Wookiee. It's odd. He's just a strange character to play as.
Going back to Mandalorian, it's weird how much some of the episodes remind me of like the smaller scale, like filler episodes, if you can even call it that, filler episodes of Cowboy Bebop. It's like they're very similar in like from a structural standpoint.
The honestly, like, maybe this is just me. Like, some of the fan service in Mandalorian is like the exact kind of stuff that I can't stand. That makes me just feel sick. But like I mean,
what? I'm just asking.
Dude, in the second season, do you remember the robot with the bad motivator that Luke almost bought but didn't? Somebody has that robot, and the way you know how you know that it's that robot because it has a bad motivator, and it goes, and you're like, it's that same robot.
That's obnoxious.
No, Joshua, that's great. That's what we want. I'm a Star Wars fan. That's a thing that I know. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they know Star Wars. They do. The show's good.
Actually.
But like that kind of stuff, I just find it. Then
I'm with you.
There's other stuff that's deeper cuts though. For example, there is I guess I shouldn't talk about this because this is actually, you'll be surprised with this.
Okay.
You are going to watch something and you're gonna go, I wonder if they're gonna do this thing from KOTOR, and then they do the thing from KOTOR. Let's just say that.
Wait, what?
There is a thing in the new season of The Mandalorian that is a straight up, like, something is going to happen. You're going to be like, oh, I wonder if they're going to do this thing from KOTOR, and then they do the thing from KOTOR.
I'm wondering what this thing from
You'll know as soon as we get to the
KOTOR
episode,
1
but
or
I'm not
2?
going to spoil it. KOTOR 1.
Is it a swoop race?
That's not a swoop race.
Capturing command post.
Not a bad mini. No, it's not a bad mini game.
Is it the really super slow walking that you do on the non?
That's correct.
Oh,
I'm underwater now.
Oh god. It's
You're not
everyone's
gonna-
favorite part of that game.
You're not going to guess what it is, so don't try.
Okay.
You'll guess as soon as the element is introduced, but... JG says, is it Rise of Skywalker levels of fan service? I'm struggling to even remember what.
Skippy the Jedi droid?
Yes, Skippy the Jedi droid from
Yes,
Star Wars
correct.
Tales. Hell yeah. Somebody knows about Skippy the
people know
Jedi
about
droid. Skippy the Jedi droid.
Oh lord.
Star Wars Tales, for those who don't know, is a series of non-canon anthology comics back when Dark Horse still did the Star Wars comics.
Oh, they're so good.
One of the early ones was the tale of Skippy the Jedi droid. And again, they're non-canon. Some of the Star Wars Tales ones are like serious and they're, action stories or whatever. Some of them are completely cartoony parodies. And Skippy the Jedi droid was literally a story about how the robot with the bad motivator from the original story was force sensitive, and his whole plot was that he blew up his motivator on purpose because he sensed through the Force that he was, because he was like, oh wow, this kid Luke, he has the Force, I can train him to use the Force. Oh wait a second, hold on, I sense that he has a destiny with this R2 unit. So he blew his motivator and sacrificed himself on purpose.
Stupid.
It's treated as a joke.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
know.
whole point.
I never read that one.
That's
though.
Skippy the Jedi droid. I don't remember a lot of the fan service from the Mandalorian. Sorry, from The Last Jedi. There wasn't a lot of fan service. The Rise of Skywalker. The
Rise of Skywalker.
there was
like,
there was
always-
a little bit of obnoxious fan service in The Last Jedi too.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
who's like, oh, Ryan Johnson hates Star Wars is like, this guy's so obviously done so much Star Wars homework. But anyway, the one part in because like honestly, like for me, Rise of Skywalker was like a 5 out of 10. It was like
Yeah, I
it was
walked
like
out of the theater saying 6 out of 10, but I think my position has dropped to 5 or even.
maybe I need to rewatch it again. Because there are parts of it that I really, really, really intensely dislike, but there were enough parts that were like cute or fun that I don't care.
I mean, I liked the first half of it. The first kind of like MacGuffin hunt part. I honestly didn't mind it. It was,
Every time
it was,
that-
like, perfectly fine.
I said this on the stream the other day. Every time that movie slowed down, I kind of started to get into it, and then the movie stopped me from being into it. Like when they were having their ball-numbing speeder chase in the desert, I was like, I feel like this is going so fast. I feel like my head hurts.
Yeah.
But then when they fell in the quicksand and they were hanging out in
And
the
it was,
cave
like,
for
super
5
slow
minutes, I was like,
paced, yeah.
oh, this is
Well,
really
it was
cute.
Anytime that movie was so fast paced because it was both trying to backtrack the entirety of the last film and also trying to tell its own story.
It was
AKA trying to tell the story of an entire trilogy in.
He was trying to do two movies at once. Yes.
Yeah, it was trying to do 2 movies at once, and it was also having to backtrack a 3rd movie. So it was.
And it was
already
trying to
super
incorporate,
bloated.
and the problem is not only was it trying to do 2 movies at once, it was also, that second movie it was trying to do was so devoid of plot that they had to make a MacGuffin hunt to pad it out. Like, I mean, think about it, really. Like that was the only, like, MacGuffin treasure hunt Star Wars. What if the movie, I started working on a rewrite of it ages ago that I haven't really touched in a while, because I really could, the 3rd act was giving me a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But it was like, what if they just went to the Death Star immediately, and they got, like, the information
That would've
immediately?
been fine.
Skip the knife and
No,
the
you
spaceship.
You gotta find where in it is by lining it. Oh my! When was that made?
Remember?
When was that knife?
Do
made?
you
Oh,
remember?
I'm gonna walk over to where the Death Star is. My old cultist leader is buried there.
Remember that
And I'm
time-
gonna make this knife so that if you look at it from the exact spot where I'm standing, it'll tell you where the ghoul code is.
Do you remember that time when George Lucas said it's a movie for 12-year-olds? And like on one hand, like that's George is like needs to shut the heck up.
He doesn't
It's a movie.
understand,
It's a
yeah.
movie for everybody.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's not a movie for 12-year-old boys. You can't.
If it was a movie for 12-year-old boys, it wouldn't have been the largest. It wouldn't have been the thing that invented the blockbuster.
If it was a movie for 12-year-old boys, George, why did you put in lengthy scenes of people debating space trade in Parliament?
It kind of annoys me now that whenever someone even mentions trade in any context within a movie, people are like, "Oh, this sounds like the Phantom Menace."
Yeah.
Because like, political disputes can work well in things.
If you're written by somebody who understands anything about politics
Yes.
or has any interest in writing about politics.
Or like we'll talk about like foreign policy at all, but it's like it's somehow the Republic owns everything, but there are still taxes, which doesn't make any sense.
And then in the second movie, they say thousands of systems, thousands of star systems. Shouldn't that be like, isn't that a ludicrous amount of people who are seceding from the Republic? Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Someone just said that J.J. Abrams is the Kirito of movies.
No, so what I was gonna say is, it's now obviously I already disagree with Lucas that it was for 12-year-olds. But what's really bad is that when he said that the movies were for 12-year-olds, he didn't mean that the movies should feel like they were made by 12-year-olds.
That's rough. That's rough.
That's rough, buddy. Though to be fair, Attack of the Clones feels like it was written by a 12-year-old too.
You don't need to be a Jedi to know what
Oh
those
man, we were
numbers
watching that clip of Attack of the Clones yesterday, where it's all the clones like shooting into the sandstorm.
Oh my
And-
God.
And they were
Field of Fire, guys.
There were guys like standing behind other guys, just doing this while rapid firing. I'm like, you're gonna kill your own men, you madman.
Boy, they were not specially elite trained soldiers. My ass.
Oh my lord, it was sad.
I'm gonna fire between all my guys. This is what the clone troopers are doing at the ending of Attack of the Clones, and they're somehow not hitting each other. So I mean, I guess they're better soldiers than I give them credit for.
I guess they are all made for. We can use the excuse that they're all from the same super soldier.
They all have a
so-
chip, according to according to the Clone Wars and Dave Filoni, they all have a chip in their brain, and what that chip also lets them do is it lets them synchronize their fields of fire like Metal Gear Solid 4, right?
Oh my god.
When Meryl's team all goes, all the clones can do that all the time, but also all the robots can do that all the time. So it's the worst war
so
ever
much
fought.
Star Wars, I can't effing escape.
And
it.
yet they can't figure out how to shoot a Jedi who can only block one bullet at a time.
Oh, the other thing from Attack of the Clones, that one guy with the kick, just in the background of that one shot.
Nah, don't worry about that right now. Anyway.
People get mad about Luke's kick, but that man's kick was from another.
That man's kick was on another level entirely. There's one extra in the background of the Coliseum fight in Attack of the Clones who does the longest wind-up spinning back kick you've ever seen in your life to take out a robot. Like, it looks like it was done. Probably wasn't a stunt guy. It was probably just some actor who was like, I'm gonna do a spinning back kick, and it's like the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen.
It was someone related to one of the producers or something that wanted to be in the movie, and then
who knows?
Oh my lord.
Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? I have a flashlight on the front of this gun, and I don't even remember what it does. It gives me some kind of statistical benefit, I think.
Oh, nice. That's what I love to hear.
Or maybe it's like if I aim it directly at somebody's face, it's like a flashbang.
That's my favorite
I don't know.
thing in video games is when you have some sort of passive bonus, but you can never tell what it does. You're just like, I know that this makes me better. I just haven't figured out why yet.
It's a clip from Spoonie's review of FF13 where he's talking about like, so what if when I rub mysterious ooze all over my gun blade, why does that make it better? And then it cuts to Dr. Insano. Clearly you don't understand the finer points of science, Spoonie. And then the gag goes on for too long. It stops being funny. But it's him like sitting at a table and he starts rubbing mysterious ooze and hair and all kinds of stuff over his gunblade prop. Yes, now this weapon is getting much better. Wait a second. If these things are improving the quality of the gunblade, then perhaps they will even make me better. And he starts eating it. Yeah, he starts rubbing some of it on himself, and then he starts eating stuff. And you get the impression that Noah's, like, actually starting to get sick as the clip is going on, because he actually consumes stuff he should not be consuming. Yes! As you can see, I and this gunblade are now performing at maximum capacity.
Man, I just agree with JG. I just want Dexter Jettster's Diner, a Star Wars story.
I've been saying forever,
Lord.
so George was trying to do a TV show in, like, the mid-2000s about, like, crime stuff, which is what I want to do.
Space crimes, baby.
But it was basically like it was too expensive, right? Because really the only reason the Mandalorian is happening is because of the new the LCD screen technology they're using to shoot, which we'll talk about later if you guys don't know about that.
We could just pipe that through on the screen.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
See how Epic is going to rule the world.
How Epic Games is going to rule the world. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the something that was interesting about the basically he wanted to do that, and it would have been too expensive because it would have been set on Coruscant and other planets, and the money just wasn't there. For me, I'm like, why is there not a Star Wars version of Wings? Are you familiar with Wings?
I am slightly familiar with
Wings is a sitcom created by the guys I believe who did Cheers. And
really?
it's a sitcom about a small a private airfield base. Not a private, a small airfield like in a small town somewhere.
Okay, gotcha.
Like one of those small offices, single airstrip type places.
Yeah.
Like people, and it's like, what a great idea, right? Because you have a weird cast of people who spend their time working here, and you get to have random people who are flying in and out of town or whatever, and that's a way to bring in easy guest stars, to have what kind of wacky character is going to come through this week. Why don't you have, imagine, for me, during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, what I would have been doing, I would have been filming a Star Wars show on the Star Wars Land set. Keep Disney World closed, but have all the employees come in and have them put masks on and keep paying them, and they're extras in the background of the Star Wars show. And since it's Star Wars, they can all be wearing masks and helmets and prosthetic crap anyway, so they can all be safe. And you shoot a mini-series that helps, number one, promote your theme park, and number two, you make it about, I don't know, space crimes in this place. Like this is a hub for smugglers where they come through and pick up goods, or they sneak through here, and what kind of stuff goes on here, right? And you make it about people who live here, and as all this crime and conflict comes through, and the different people they have to deal with and stuff, right? I'd love to see a Star Wars show like that. That'd be fun.
I think everyone in the audience is confused. You have to remember that Jacob has a strange fascination with Disney World that no one fully understands.
What are they confused about with Disney World?
Well, because you're set in Disney World, and people are probably like, why set in Disney World?
There's a Star Wars land at Disney World. It's a big set that's been made, and the fact that they didn't...
Jacob is no match for Droidica.
So the pistol that I'm firing at them with right now is an unlock you have to get for the sniper class. And it's great because it does passive damage. Once you hit them, it starts doing, it does poison damage, basically.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, unlike most special abilities in this game, it doesn't have a cooldown time. It's the only secondary in the game. You can pull it out whenever you want.
Oh, that's super nice.
So I often use this I'll tap people with this at distance, and then I'll pull out the sniper rifle and kill them, and that actually, not even rush in.
Not rush in.
Because it's a straight shooter, even at long range. So it's hard.
Oh, and then now the droidica.
He rolled off the ledge like a dumbass. You can also pull out a rapid-firing machine gun. Dooku's back here. He's going to kill me. But I thought maybe I could do some damage to him.
Another droidica. Oh, my God.
People are... That's the way you get past. And the objective that they need to take to win this match is in there, so that they can rush past. The droidicas are the fastest-moving units in the game, so they can get through really quickly that way, other than heroes. Yipes!
Darth Maul is here. Immediately dies.
Alright, gonna pull out a shotgun.
Yeah, I think that for me, it's like one of the hugest mistakes of the prequels. Is like Darth Maul, even with no dialogue, is still way more interesting than Count Dooku. Just get rid of Dooku and make it Maul in the second movie. And in the third movie, for that matter.
I have to get revenge for how he killed my master Qui-Gon.
Yeah, like, it's so much more
It writes
compelling,
itself.
And Dooku is just not an interesting character.
I mean, Darth Maul isn't either, but at least he's cool, a cool person to fight.
Yeah, and also he has personal beef with Obi-Wan.
Dooku's an old man.
Yeah, they also try to do that with Dooku, because they're like, oh, he was Qui-Gon's master, but that doesn't go anywhere. It's just one
Yeah,
scene.
what did that mean?
There's one scene where Dooku tells Obi-Wan everything, and he's just like, you're lying. And he's like the Chancellor is evil, and he's like, you're lying, and he controls both the Separatists and this other army. You're lying. It's like,
and this is
being thought about it.
And
for
he's
like
he's
50
told
seconds.
he's
You just
told
would've
this
solved everything.
he's told this information 5 hours after he found out that a secret that a secret army has been commissioned for the Galactic Republic, and there's a bounty hunter who is hired to help make this army by a man named Tyrannus, and apparently this bounty hunter has also been hired to kill Padme, who is going to vote against the creation of the army, and he's working for Count Dooku. And then in the Clone Wars CGI TV show, Obi-Wan finds out that Darth Maul, gosh, what's the bastard's name? That Dooku's Sith name is Darth Tyrannus, and he still doesn't do anything with this.
He's not like, oh, that means he paid for the clone army. Oh shit. He's like, oh, you're Tyrannus. Interesting.
What a weird coincidence.
And see, that was always the thing. It was like, oh, okay, he didn't.
Too stupid to live.
It was like, okay, sure, he knew some of the information was Dooku and some of the information was Tyrannus. He didn't know they were the same person. Okay, that makes sense. And then, I'm not saying Clone Wars is bad, but then Clone Wars is like, oh no, he knew that Tyrannus and Dooku were the same person, and it ruins everything. It ruins the small amount of continuity that actually exists with Obi-Wan not figuring everything out.
What an airtight storyline.
Oh, people are saying I said Goku. No, it's Dooku. In the Plinkett reviews, the famous reviews of the prequels, Mr. Plinkett refers to Count Dooku as Count Dooku.
And he also calls Padme Padma.
Yeah, he calls her Padma, and stuff like that.
Padma, Padme.
Yeah, he slurs his words because he's a crazy person.
Yeah.
Well, the caricature is. Mike Colosso is not a crazy person.
Just drunk and
just
depressed.
Drunk and depressed. But yeah, so I always say Dooku. It's a reference to those reviews.
Punch him!
Because I have more respect for those reviews than I do for all 3 of the prequels combined. So,
big loss.
Dooku.
Big L on that one, boys.
Whee! All we can do is hope we bought the crew enough time to get away.
Oh, that's rough. Wait, so did Count Dooku die on that ship?
Probably.
Ah. Interesting.
Probably. Who knows? Who cares? I'm gonna not play that mode anymore, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it terrible?
No, because it's like it goes on for too long.
Okay.
I want to see more of the game than less, so we're gonna do modes where I can actually see a larger quantity of
I'm
the
not
video
a fan
game.
of this key art.
Neither am I.
It's horrible.
It's bad. I don't like it. They
so
changed it for the
bad.
Celebration
Well,
edition.
yeah, because it has the Sith Trooper on it, which wasn't a thing when this game first came out. But it's like, oh lord, it looks so bad.
It's kind of lame.
I'm gonna grab some water.
It's a little lame. It's a little bit lame. I agree. What's going on over here? I got something. And then the notification goes away, so I don't know what I got. But I got 1,500 credits from it. Whatever I did, who cares? So Galactic Assault, shorter matches, but they do large scale. But they don't work like what we just saw
Wait,
there. There's
an
one
Ewok hunt mode.
that was also added in later. That's a horror mode. One team is Ewoks, the other team is Stormtroopers. It's like Infection or whatever.
And so the Ewoks are the horror element.
Yes. It's at night.
That's actually
It's
like
at
that.
night,
I
and
like
you're playing
that.
as Stormtroopers, and one guy has a gun with a flashlight on it, and everybody else just has normal guns. And I haven't played it at all. Joey says it's a lot of fun. I've never even touched it. But basically, Galactic Assault is like Supremacy, but instead of a back and forth tug of war, it's just one team is attacking and one team is defending. So like the matches actually conclude. If the attacking team does not achieve its objective within a time limit, then the defending team wins.
That's why there are time limits in games, is to avoid the endless game.
Skimming through chat real quick, because I obviously haven't been looking at it much during this whole process here. Yeah, I fiddled with a rewrite of Rise of Skywalker for a little while.
And then you realized it was a lost cause. So
No,
you
not even.
destroyed it.
No, not even. I just didn't want to spend the time to like figure out the third act, because that was where I was just kind of I had like a lot of moving pieces to work with.
Yeah.
And I was trying to not like do like a complete redo. Like in the script that I had, I actually kept like the Rey and Palpatine reveal. Well, not script, like in the outline that I had. Really, it was functional if that had been removed. Like what I was writing could have worked even without that. But it was in there. Just 'cause I was trying to write it as if like, okay, if I already had like, if the sets were already being made and the plan was already being done, but we just were doing some last minute rewrites, how much damage could I do? And that was basically what the only main thing is that I in that rewrite, I cut the desert entirely.
Yeah.
Which maybe they'd already, been planning to go film stuff on location there. So that, but then again, you could just make the surface of the Sith planet a desert instead of a weird lightning storm place. So it would work. Anyway, so like, I don't care about that. The main thing that I did was like that, basically right away, they go to, the Death Star ruins. That's the first thing that they do. And instead of it being a map to where the bad guys are, it's a copy of, basically a commander. They find a secret recording that was only given to like top Imperial officials. There was a last command directive from Palpatine that is related to the plot. The rewrite, I was going to call it literally the final order, which was Palpatine says this will be the final order one. Basically, what I was going to build to was like, okay, so to me, the thing that's interesting about the sequels and the antagonistic force in the sequels is that like the Empire was a government that was constructed that had the purpose of like, and this is something that I wish people would explore. Like the campaign of this game, I was excited for because it was like, oh, cool, dude, there's going to be like a storyline where you play as, we're not going to talk about, I don't want to talk about this campaign because I might play it on stream sometime, and then anybody who doesn't know about it can find out about it.
I know about it.
But,
holy crap, it's bad.
So I really want to see somebody explore like why would somebody fight for the Empire, and apparently that new motive, the Starfighter game does that, which I'm excited to play that. Yeah. But to me, like the entire thing is okay. How would you sell it? How would you sell the public on this? All of this terrible stuff that you're getting up to, and I think that the real way to go about it. I'm gonna turn on some music again since I have game music turned off because I like to play Starfighter Assault in this game and mute the game music and
play
turn on
Cowboy
Cowboy Bebop music. It's fantastic. But anyway, I'll give you guys a little something to listen to while we're talking. I really think it'd be interesting to do an exploration of why this kind of stuff happens, because it's like not like to justify, you know, evil behavior or whatever, but the fact is, like, you know, like, the Nazis did not come to power in Germany because everybody in Germany was evil. Like, you know, they did some stuff to convince people. Then they started doing a bunch of evil stuff, and sure, along the way, a lot of people in Germany got really on board with the evil stuff. But the reason that they came to power was because people were starving, and the Nazis, Hitler
Their money
figured...
was useless and people were starving.
Their money was useless, and people were starving because France extracted far too intense revenge in the Versailles Treaty. Once again, the French ruin everything. They did. They caused World War II. Anyway,
yeah.
but they
kinda.
they basically
The British did too. The British aren't safe. We helped.
We helped.
We helped.
We also
The Americans helped.
we helped. I mean, like, Woodrow Wilson was running. That was
Oh my god.
he was so busy trying to stop the French from ruining Europe that when the Chinese came to him and said, "Hey, Mr. Wilson, we're
help?"
really concerned about the Japanese," he was
also
like,
when
"I don't have time for your problems."
And also when Ho Chi Minh came to him was like, "Hey, could like Vietnam be like self-determined?" He was like, "Nah, you're funny."
No. Mr. Woodrow Wilson, the symbol of freedom and peace in the world, could you please help us to acquire freedom and peace? No, we're gonna come back and kill you with helicopters in about 40 years. Just wait, it'll be super exciting. We're gonna blast
Guess
Rolling
you guys
Stone.
aren't ready for that,
but your grandkids are gonna love it. Gonna blast some Rolling Stones and Rise of the Valkyries. It's gonna be super great. It's gonna be super exciting. You guys will love it a lot. Anyway,
This isn't politics, Crossburn. This is history. Come on.
seriously.
This is all history. We're not talking about
Sarcastic
politics.
one says, "Jacob, are you saying that the French are worse
God,
than the
no.
Nazis?"
No. Shut up. Shut up.
No.
No.
What I was gonna say is
He's saying that the treaty the Treaty of Versailles. Look it up if you don't know anything about it, because it's like the most interesting treaty ever written.
it's one of the most disastrous
It's the most baffling document
political
in the
documents
history
ever
of
written.
Time.
Where basically what you need to know is that at the conclusion of World War I, if you don't know that much about World War I, it's a pretty complex Rube Goldberg machine of geopolitical events, of people who did not yet understand how complicated and intricate
They didn't
international
understand
politics had
cause and
become.
effect
They
yet.
did not understand cause and effect. Basically, two assholes who didn't matter were like, "We're gonna shoot at each other. Hey, Germany, will you back me up if I shoot at these people?" And Germany was like, "They're not gonna shoot at each other. That'd be stupid."
But yeah, we'll back you up if you do,
Whatever.
yeah.
Who cares? It's fine. And then the people that the Austrians were shooting at said, "Hey, Russia, can you back us up?" And Russia said, "Yeah, whatever, that's fine." And then everybody became convinced that because of all these alliances, they were all gonna get attacked, and they were all gonna be fighting
they
a
all
defensive war.
mobilized their armies.
Everybody demobilized to fight a defensive war at the same time.
Everyone's defensive, we swear.
But because Germany realized correctly that mathematically they could not win if they actually got into a war, they decided the only way we have a chance of surviving is if we attack first, so I guess we have to attack first.
And so they invaded Belgium because they thought otherwise they were going to get annihilated.
Because they couldn't go through France's
Yeah.
direct border, so they went through Belgium. And then they did extremely well, and they got within 30 miles of Paris, but then they got stopped, and then the lines did not move for 4 years.
Yeah.
And everybody died in place for a long time.
And everyone was like, well, we fought the Germans, so it's their fault. Even though it was totally the Austrians' fault. I'm
Well,
sorry.
the Germans did
Okay.
all kinds of terrible stuff
They
to the
did.
people of
Especially-
Belgium and
yeah,
France.
in World War I, they did quite a bit of bad things, especially in Belgium.
Nobody think that we're trying to defend horrible war crimes and genocide and battles and all kinds of things that could have been easily avoided if people had used their brain powers and or not been evil. Don't think that at all for a second. What happened was basically the French took major revenge. They had a ton of negotiating power in the Treaty of Versailles to end the war.
Because they had most people die, and so they had the most say in
And
the
they
treaty.
basically they imposed debts on Germany that were insane.
They
Which
didn't stop paying it off until 2008, I believe. They finished it. They finally finished the consolidated debt.
King Crowbow says, "Isn't the too long didn't read at the beginning, middle, and end of World War I just holy crap? Nobody understood what the word global means, huh?" Yeah, a little bit. There's a lot going on in the middle, including people fighting over mountains for 3 years and all kinds of other exciting stuff.
God.
But anyway, there was basically this is where an important lesson was learned that had not been learned yet, but we would thankfully learn later. The U.S. should have learned their lesson after the Civil War, but they didn't quite yet. We didn't learn this basically until Japan. Two things need to happen when you defeat somebody in a war. Either A, you need to help them rebuild afterwards, or B, you need to utterly annihilate them.
And we don't like doing the latter one.
Doing the latter one is bad, so it's important to help people rebuild. We failed to do this after we went in World War I. I was going to say also the Cold War and proxy wars in the Middle East.
Yeah.
We went in and we armed everybody and said, go kill the Russians.
We were dumb.
And even though we spent billions of dollars giving them all guns, we couldn't then spend a couple million to build schools and roads.
The U.S. That was the problem with World War I, was no one helped Germany recover. It was all, we need to extract as much wealth from Germany as possible in like retaliation for the people we lost. They occupied their biggest industrial center, did all kinds of other crap. The only reason that Germany and Japan were stable after World War II was because a lot of people, especially the U.S., because we were the biggest credit giver in the world at the time, just gave people tons of money.
Because at the time we had tons of money.
Yeah, because we had tons of money because we had taken on all of the, for the first few years of the war, the UK, the Soviets, and the French had just been giving us stuff to pay for the war.
But anyway, what we were getting to is basically the Germans were going through the Great Depression 10 years before everybody else. Yeah. And essentially
Not 10 years before. Come on. It was around the same time.
Whatever. I mean, it was but I'm saying like their economy was wrecked immediately after World War I.
Yeah.
And indeed, they started to recover a lot sooner than the rest of the world, basically because of a lot of stuff that the fascists did. Now, what the fascists did was bad, was terrible, but they basically seized all property basically they nationalized everything. They nationalized every single natural resource that Germany had. And they shoved it all into essentially, basically, we valued the entirety of like every single natural resource in the entirety of Germany, and they used that to try and pay off their debts, and then to basically have enough money so that people could actually eat and have food and stuff.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, everybody in Germany had been starving to death for and didn't have work for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And then the fascists came along and said, "Here's food and running water and they built the world's first interstates and stuff. They did a ton of stuff, so people were supporters of the whole thing. Now, most of the ways that they went about doing those things were really bad.
And people don't talk about the reason they were able to reach full employment and all that stuff so fast were because everyone who didn't have a job, they were like, okay, you go build tanks.
Yes. Also, to be fair, they got to also, it was really easy to create new jobs when you removed all of the undesirables.
Oh my God.
We don't have a lot of job vacancies in this area. Let's just remove certain people. So again, I don't want anybody to be sitting here thinking that I'm saying, boy, wow, the fascists really did a good job reviving the nation of Germany. I'm just explaining why people were supporting them if they lived inside Germany. Yeah. And to me, so the reason that we were bringing this up is because we're talking about Star Wars, and it's I would like to see to me, the holy reason, Star Wars never explored this, and it doesn't make sense that, Palpatine's yes, and now I will run the Empire, and I will run it forever, and I have complete control over the military, and I've killed all of these people, and then everybody claps. The prequels, because I'm also working on a rewrite of the prequels that I've done a lot more work on. It'd make a lot more sense if the whole plot of those movies was basically about the war is so chaotic, and then Palpatine ends it and says, okay, now we didn't have a military before this, and that was the problem. We're not going to go to war anymore, but we're going to have a massive army of conscripts. We're going to do it. We're going to have them everywhere.
Basically do what Rome did.
If anybody steps out of line, if everybody steps out of line for even a second, we're going to blow them away. And then that's what people are like, oh, thank you. After this long period of war and everybody's suffering, then that's what's going to be, it's what's going to keep us all alive.
And then creating the war and using it to get into power makes more sense because...
It would also be the perfect motivation for Anakin to join up. Think about this, right? Think about your Anakin, the character that exists in the Star Wars prequels, and you come from a place where there's no law, everything's run by crime lords. you were a slave. And then you come to Coruscant and you look around and you go, oh my god, I didn't know that anything like this could exist anywhere in the galaxy. And then you go to a meeting of the Senate and it's the bureaucratic mess that it is in the prequels.
It's the U.S. Congress.
And you're like, it's worse in Star Wars.
Well, yeah, no,
but like,
it's horrible in Star Wars. I was
in
just
Star
making a
Ward, the
joke.
Trade
I was making a
Federation.
joke.
In
Has
Star
a
Wars, the
seat on
Trade Federation has a
Parliament!
seat in the Congress. It's insane. Anyway, George doesn't know what he's doing.
That's why that was always the disconnect for me. Is like when it was like the banking clan and like stuff like that. I'm like he's trying to target like, oh, the separatists are all big business, but then it's like, oh, thousands of solar systems are seceding. Then that doesn't make any sense if it's just large corporations. Like, it's sad that the Outer Worlds spends about like 1/10 of the amount of time like setting up why its world is run by like huge corporations, and it makes 10 times more sense.
But anyway, yikes. Oh yeah, also they use the CGI voices for the droids, which is not great, but whatever. That's canon now, I
It
guess.
makes sense. You actually have a VA for those voices. It makes sense. For a lot of different voice lines. I get it. I just don't like those voices because they sound goofy instead of intimidating.
Well, I mean, the droids were never super duper intimidating, but I don't understand why anybody would program their robots to make their war robots to make funny quips.
Yeah.
Oh no, not again. Anyway, it would make sense to me if like the plotting of the prequels was that Anakin comes along and sees this like incredible government that like these people could save everybody and keep everybody alive, but then along the way, like bureaucracy and stupid Jedi rules constantly gets in the way, and then he gets into a position where he's lost like men throughout the course of the war, he's lost his wife, he's lost everything, and he decides the only way to do this is to become a strict enforcer and to put down any terrorism the second that it appears, and that's why you have a heroic character become a villain. It's not like super duper hard, but George doesn't know what he's doing.
He almost got there in episode 2. People always joke about the scene where it's like, oh, and then Anakin says that he supports a fascist dictatorship. Like, that's honestly, it's sad. But that's like the closest they get to justifying his turn. Because
again,
like,
not to be clear, not justifying that he made a good decision, justifying narratively.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, I hate the deadlock in the Senate. I wish that there was just one guy who could get everything true. It would have to be someone wise and altruist, but
we're not saying that these are good thought processes Anakin is having, only that they motivate his turn.
Development.
Because the turn as it exists, we were talking about this the other day. It's like he goes from "What have I done?" to
I'm gonna kill all my friends.
kill all the younglings now. I'm gonna kill all the children.
In like 2 hours.
What if when he went in to kill the children, one of the children had said, "Please, you have to help me save my master Shmi," and then he'd said, "Why did you say that name?"
Oh, God.
Shmi won't die tonight. And then he will remember, oh yeah, 20 minutes ago I said, what have I done? And I could just go back and kill the Emperor right now. And then he just did that.
Like, that, no,
If there had been one person in the Jedi Temple named Shmi, he wouldn't have turned evil. Because that's his whole motivation, is he wanted to stop people from dying.
So yeah, the fact that he's like, oh, it needs to be someone wise that controls everything. Like, that actually makes sense. That's, like, good justification, but we never... After that point, we never see the Senate being incompetent. That's only in the first movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, after that, they never
Well, I guess they're
play
pretty
a
incompetent
role.
when they cheer for the fascist dictatorship.
I mean, oh my god. Oh my god. I am electing myself king of space. I am getting rid of all elections. Please clap. Man.
I don't want
I love
anyone to
Star
think that
Wars.
we're talking about like any of these things as if they're good.
No,
We're just
they're all
talking
bad.
about
They're
we're
all
talking about
horrible.
narrative justification for villains to turn evil.
Yeah.
And we're talking about why people are suckered into supporting evil movements.
Yeah.
Because people don't just wake up. Some people do.
Yeah.
Some people are just evil.
Some people are mean.
Most people don't wake up in the morning and decide, I'm just gonna be evil today. A lot of people get tricked into becoming evil slowly over time because evil people offered them something that they didn't have.
You don't just become evil because you want to stop people from dying. I'm
And
sorry.
I'm similarly not saying that the people, like SS officers who were working in
God. Yeah,
concentration
they were all
camps,
evil.
I'm not saying that they were like, well, I'm gonna do this now because like I was talking about, because I got a job and I can eat now or whatever. Clearly, those people were actually deeply, truly evil. I'm talking about how an entire population can get suckered into doing something and believing something.
It's like, at the end of the war, a lot of the of people of Germany who like didn't know about all that stuff, it's like American and Soviet troops like would take them to like concentration camps and they'd be like horrified. because they didn't know about a lot of it.
Well, they knew about plenty of stuff. They didn't know about that.
Yeah,
They knew
no,
about
no,
plenty of
that's
stuff.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. It's like usually those crazy movements don't get everyone. It's just you get enough of the people, and the rest of them only see the positives.
I'm willing to bet that a lot of MAGA folks would feel a little bit differently about immigration if they toured some of the buildings where those children are being kept.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, the reason I was bringing this up, we're talking about our fun, goofy Star Wars video game. Something that was interesting to me that kind of, I've heard people say, so many people talking about how, like, oh, the new movies are just, like, rip-offs of the old ones. Something that was so interesting to me about them structurally is that the bad guys don't have an objective of political control.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. Okay. But what if an old goat man fills you with enough darkness that you just become evil?
Well, then in that case, as long as you give somebody a card that they can use in Kingdom Hearts 4, you'll be redeemed. Remember when Luxord gave him the card?
I remember.
And he was like, that'll be useful in Kingdom Hearts 4. And he's like, thank you.
Watch it be useful in Kingdom Hearts 5.
I'm willing to bet that what's going to happen is when we get to Gigopolis, or Cyanthium,
What are you talking about?
the city, it has a name now.
What? In what?
In Kingdom Hearts, the Tokyo city. It's
Oh,
not
it has
Tokyo, it has a name.
Oh, no.
Not Stella says it in the ending of Melody of Memory. It's like,
I'm so glad I'm out.
it's like, it's,
Should I just leave for this conversation?
I don't care. Do whatever you want. Okay, sure, fine. Adios. They say is it like, somebody in chat's gonna remind, Quadratum, thank you, there we go. It's called Quadratum is the name of the city. Which makes me think it's separated into 4 quadrants. It summons that type of imagery in my mind.
Nomura just likes the English language like Kojima. It's fine.
Anyway, is this guy still back here? I was gonna kill him with my laser, so I do foolishness, Dante. We are not having a wacky woohoo pizza time, Dante. I am trying to kill you with my samurai sword. I threw a smoke bomb on accident, but I still killed him with my samurai sword. This is not a wacky woohoo pizza time, Dante. I am trying to kill you with my samurai sword. Trying to kill you with my samurai sword, Dante. Whatchamacallit? What if instead of having like Tin Pin Slammer or whatever, since it's not actually a The World Ends With You crossover, what if there's Triple Triad and your card that you have is that he gave to you as part of the Triple Triad game?
Is it just like a quadruple A card?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh!
It's gonna be like how in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi never actually follows the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! He just pulls out a card that wins. My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards. This card is useless. I have to believe that this deck has some secret strategy.
That's one of my favorite.
This card is useless.
That's one of my favorite things in Bug Fables. Is when the Yu-Gi-Oh the Yu-Gi-Oh reference character comes in, and he's like completely terrible at cards most of the time, but he's like, it's fine. My grandfather's deck is completely unbeatable.
Come over here if you're gonna talk about Bug Fables. People can't hear you. I want to hear you talk about Bug Fables on mic and talk about how good it is. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I find it really interesting that, and this is something that would have been honestly my biggest disappointment with the Rise of Skywalker. If you want to allow me to if you want to give me a little bit of a soapbox here. So the Star Wars prequels are bad, right? But there's a 3-year gap between 2 and 3, and the status quo has changed substantially between those 2 movies, so it's really easy to put a TV show there, which is what they wound up doing, right? And, like, it allowed Dave Filoni and those folks to basically fix those movies and take, like, Obi-Wan and Anakin from characters that I couldn't stand to being really fun, exciting Star Wars characters, and to introduce Ahsoka, one of the best characters in Star Wars, right? At least modern Star Wars, period. Like, before the sequel movies happened, she was the best thing to happen to Star Wars in, like, 20 years. But something that that I thought would be interesting is like, okay, the Empire is a centralized government that is trying to maintain control over the galaxy. And the First Order is essentially once the Republic gets blown up in Return of the Jedi, it shouldn't be called the Age of Resistance in their new marketing. It should be called the Age of Anarchy. Like, that to me is what's really interesting. There's no centralized government, and the Empire is basically just a massive, the First Order is just a massive paramilitary force that is just flying around killing people and terrorizing populations with no centralized goal and no government and no taxes. They're just raping and pillaging and maintaining fear-mongering campaigns to keep people in check. They're basically just, they are nation-level terrorists, right? They're just terrorizing the entire galaxy. That's an awesome concept. Completely, a galaxy that has been suddenly thrust into a complete anarchy of no centralized government and a massive military force that no one can stand up to, that is just steamrolling everybody like a giant Katamari Damacy ball, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it would have been really interesting if, okay, so Last Jedi ends with Luke sacrifices himself to inspire people across the entire galaxy to rise up, right? Because in that movie, the Resistance is like 2 ships and barely any people, and a ton of them die at the end and no one comes to help. But then at the end, Luke sacrifices himself and creates this huge, he embraces his larger-than-life image, right? That he was saying is harmful and stupid and no one is that good. I'm not that person that people believe I am. And he does a trick to embody that image that he began the movie resenting, right?
Yes.
And then you see the kids, you know, passing on this story, right? So to me, honestly, people talk about The Last Jedi disrespecting Luke. The most disrespectful thing that's ever been done to Luke is that the Rise of Skywalker starts and it's like, oh, they got like 20 more people. That's when Luke died for no reason.
Yeah.
They should have, that movie should have begun with like, thanks to the opening crawl should have been, in the wake of the heroic sacrifice of Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, people across the galaxy are rallying together behind his name and the banner of the Resistance. And like the opening montage should have been like the force, like, you know, people, you know, counterinsurgency and guerrilla warfare across the entire galaxy, right? The fact that they then said, okay, so 3 years passed between, or, you know, however many years between, you know, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and in that time, nothing changed. They got one Carillion Corvette and like 20 more guys.
Why did you run into the explosion?
Because I'm looking at you and I'm not paying attention.
Then
So it's
let
like,
me play the video game.
that's the most disrespectful thing that has been done to Luke by these movies, is he killed himself for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most disrespectful thing. Oh, The Last Jedi disrespected Luke's legacy. At least in The Rise of Skywalker, JJ put in a part where he catches a lightsaber and says, you should be more respectful of this, because in the last movie, he threw it away. What a big, respectful brain he has. Anyway.
This weapon is your life,
This
Anakin.
weapon is your life, Anakin. Anyway. Wars not make one great. Great warrior. Ha! Wars not make one great. What a hypocrite. Anyway, I thought it would be really interesting. Like, you could do, if the next movie, like, even if those movies had been, like, if you think those movies are terrible, right? Imagine a scenario where people like Dave Filoni or, because, like, I'm on board with the Clone Wars TV show, even though I don't like the prequels, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I imagine a scenario where The Rise of Skywalker is about the way it is, and I really don't like it, but they just had, instead of, like, because the only reason they don't have forces is because JJ could not figure out a way to have an emotional thing happen at the end, so just tons of ships arbitrarily show up to help because Lando Calrissian said, hey, can you guys come help, right?
Wait, is that legit why it happened?
Yeah, dude. Lando Calrissian was like, I'm gonna go tell people to help.
I know.
Why it happened was because they did an open broadcast across the entire galaxy saying the bad guys are gonna come and attack you, please come and help. So Lando Calrissian and Poe Dameron saying, hey, the First Order is bad, please come help, worked. But Luke Skywalker fighting off an entire army single-handedly. Because, like, people don't know that he died. They just know that he did that, right?
Yeah.
No one knows that that was a Force trick and that he died. Everyone thinks that Luke actually did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, to me, it's like Rise of Skywalker could have been totally unchanged and had all the things in it that I thought were weird, but if the Resistance had just had a bigger force, then you could have done a TV series in the intervening time about them building up their forces and recruiting new cool characters and the relationships between everybody, but then it's like, oh, the status quo has been completely unaltered between these two, and they haven't gotten any new people, so any show taking place between these two movies would be pointless. So they don't even have the opportunity of, okay, well, maybe the Clone Wars can fix this. Which is, that is honestly, that to me is the most disappointing thing about the Rise of Skywalker. Movie could have been like, ho-hum, But if it had just done that, and there would have been the opportunity for somewhere down the line someone to do something really interesting with what I think is a... Oh man, the setting of the sequels is so uninteresting because it's just stormtroopers again.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And they're not going to be able to do anything with it now, I don't think, which is the biggest shame to me about the whole thing. If I could change, if I could only make one, I could snap my fingers and make one change to the Rise of Skywalker, I would change it to the Resistance had a ton of forces at the beginning. Then you could do a TV show in the middle, or
Yeah.
books, or whatever else.
Yeah, they could probably broadcast it on Fortnite.
They could broadcast on Fortnite. Yeah, if they hopped on Fortnite and said, "Hey, attention, all Fortnite gamers! The Resistance needs your help to defeat the evil Emperor, but they can only
God,
do
it's
it
the last Starfighter."
with your mom's credit card. They can only do it if they send us your mom's credit card information." Attention, all Fortnite gamers.
Epic already has that. Are you kidding me? Because
Epic
they've
already
already
has
bought thousands of V-Bucks, and they did the remember my credit card thing, because it's hard, because I don't want to have to go get my mom's credit card again, because she won't let me do it a second time.
Attention, all Fortnite gamers. Yipes!
Wait, you got 200 fun bucks for getting 400 kills? That's such a terrible reward.
It's probably with a weapon type or as a... It was definitely with a weapon
It was
type.
as assault.
It was as assault? Okay,
Yes,
that surprises
400
me.
kills as assault, and you only get 200 fun bucks.
Surprised I haven't gotten more than that by now. I got 200 fun bucks. I got 200 Monopoly dollars.
Exactly.
Space bucks. Should just always be called space bucks. Don't try to come up with a new currency.
No, I'm okay with credits. Credits is simple enough. To
Nah,
work.
if you make a Star Wars, if you make a space thing, you should just call your currency space bucks. It's the only one that. Just always call it space bucks. Nothing else matters.
No, just name it V-Bucks. That will be the currency of the future, as we all have learned. Am I right?
Oh,
Fortnite
dude, if
gamers?
somebody did a science fiction movie in the next couple of years and the currency was called V-Bucks, that'd be the implications.
Oh, man, everyone would want that to be the future that we live in. That would be true science fiction horror right there.
Fun fact, opus quadratum is a Roman construction technique in which blocks are layered in a parallel formation. Okay, so Nomura is doing some wordplay. Okay.
Yeah, he's doing.
I thought he was
doing
just
a bunch of-
smashing
dude,
weirdo
he
stuff
loves
together.
Latin, dude.
I mean, I knew
Yeah.
quad would be something, but I didn't know what dratum was, so I didn't think about it. So he's okay, interesting. Parallel formation, it's a bunch of skyscrapers in a big city. Okay, he's doing a little something there. He's doing a little something. That's fine. I'll accept it. That's cool. Whatever. Yipes.
That was sad.
He was a special unit. I couldn't do much about that. And I can't play as any of these characters. I don't know how to play them. Well, I'm going to play as this guy, and I'm not even going to... What am I doing? I'm not even going to play as him. I don't know how to play him at all.
Why is Quiet one of the special characters over there?
Huh?
Let's look, it's Quiet.
Yeah, she did not choose
Oh,
to
okay,
be
never.
quiet.
Oh, okay, never mind. Her face is very strange compared to Quiet's now. I don't know why.
What am I doing? How am I doing? Like, why am I playing as a sniper on this map?
Just let me play for you. It's very clear you're not paying attention.
Well, you need to read chat then. If I'm over here paying attention to the game,
No.
you need to read chat.
This music is not well for this game that we're playing right now.
Who cares?
The
Who gives a
Xenoblade
crap?
Chronicles theme.
Who gives a crap? This weapon is your life, Anakin. Anakin then proceeds to lose his weapon, lights the lightsaber in like 5 times.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Wait, why didn't the green lightsaber that they threw him become...
Mom, they started
become
killing
his
the
light-
Rebel Alliance. Please pick me up. King Krobos says, I'm glad I never really bothered to watch Rise of Skywalker. I knew sooner or later I'd catch Jacob giving me the summary. Okay, I'm going to do my best from memory,
Oh, God.
brief summary of...
Oh, God,
I only
no.
saw it the
Okay,
one time.
One second. Let me take the remote. I've never played this game before.
Here,
but
here's
I
what we're
will
gonna do.
become a Fortnite gamer.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to just back out.
What?
Yeah, we're going to back out. Instead of, because if we do, like, here's the thing. When you pick up a multiplayer game, you haven't played it at all, you're just going to die. Like, there's a bunch of abilities and stuff to learn. I'm going to stick you into stuff where you can kill
I
AI.
can just go bang bang.
I'm gonna
It's
stick.
fine.
I'm gonna stick you in somewhere where you can kill
Okay.
AI and you can learn the controls at least. Okay. Do you want to? You go grab your remote.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that we had 2 PlayStation remotes. Can anyone tell it's been like 6 months since I've been home? Probably not.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get to. No. Stop that. Hold on. One moment. Don't turn that on yet, because it'll
Yeah,
it'll
that's
turn
fine,
on
too.
player 2 if you do. You want to do instant action, which is like a normal match against AI, or do you want to do arcade, which is like special scenarios with certain characters?
I'll just play on multiplayer, obviously.
We're gonna do instant action then.
Oh my god.
We'll do attack because that's usually longer. Do you want
Okay.
what? You want to? I find clones to be the most fun. Their special units
I'll
are
play
really
as
fun.
Clones.
You can play as whoever you want to. That's just my
Oh,
suggestion.
I can play on Jakku. That's
Yeah,
my
I know.
favorite place in Star Wars. I'll take Camino.
Camino's only defend as the
never
Republic.
mind.
You can still, I mean, defend's fine too. You can do that as well.
Mm.
Want to switch to defend?
Sure. There we go. That works. Put it on hard. There we go.
Sure thing. That's fine. All right, hold on.
I've seen the AI in this game. I'm not that worried.
Hold on. I need to stop. What is the button? Where is it? There it is. Yes, there we go. Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead and
Okay.
hook your thing up.
Man, I just wish I had the the slime controller for this, the Dragon Quest
Oh
controller.
yeah. I bet that's really good for shooters. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really comfortable in your hand.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so I'm gonna summarize. We're not gonna do like a 3-hour discussion and review of Rise of Skywalker. I'm just gonna do a summary of events as best I can recall them from having seen it in the theaters once. Movie begins, and actually no, before the movie begins, Palpatine plays Fortnite, which is canon. Basically, there was a broadcast that was heard across the galaxy and in Fortnite. You don't hear it in the movie. The only way to hear the broadcast that was done was in Fortnite.
Oh my god.
A broadcast is heard across the galaxy
let's go,
that
gamers.
is the voice of Sheev Palpatine. It's just suddenly heard on open frequencies across the galaxy.
Okay.
The opening crawl says, "The dead speak."
Oh my god.
You got to defend this hard point, which is up on top
okay,
of this thing.
Okay, never mind.
This
I'm
is
gonna get back a bit.
this
Yeah.
is your hard point.
Yeah, I see the command post indicator here. It's at least the same as the old
you can
games.
you can shoot them from over there if you want. Like I mean,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
otherwise
get
they're gonna
down.
get up here and you're not gonna have cover. It's better to shoot them there and then back up as necessary.
Oh man, the aiming feels really weird.
Just because you're playing a dice game.
Oh.
Every time I've touched a Battlefield game, I've bounced off of it super hard.
Because the aiming feels like crap.
And this game.
Okay.
I don't know
that's
why you
bad.
did that.
I didn't mean to roll. I meant to crouch.
Double tapping O makes you roll. Pressing it once makes you crouch. There's no prone.
Okay. Don't worry, I'll learn this, guys.
And then your bumpers. So on this one, your left is a impact grenade, which blows up on impact.
Okay.
Right is a grenade launcher that can fire 3 times, and L1 and R1 turns on your barrage, which is a minigun that moves extremely slow. You can't move fast when you're using that minigun.
Oh,
you have
God,
to be
the
pretty
aiming.
exposed. Well, you may want to burst fire with that gun anyway, because
Okay.
at distance it spreads out a lot.
Gotcha.
So at distance that gun spreads a good
Okay.
amount. You're playing the heavy. You have the large magazine, high rate of fire gun, but it's not great at range. So
Okay, gotcha.
square will release your heat, and you can do it midway. It doesn't just start cooling automatically if you stop shooting.
Okay,
so
gotcha. I'll learn this.
if you overheat your gun completely, it'll start cooling automatically, and there will be a little mini game you play where you can either
Yeah.
reheat it, and you can either cool it instantly
can-
or
it's
get
an it's
get
like
a brief
fast
overload.
cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
You activate that little mini game by pressing R2, just as a point of reference, so you know.
Okay,
if you
wait,
screw
so
up the mini, you just go ahead and fire and just go ahead and
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's if you like fully do it.
yeah, just
Okay.
go ahead and so you can see how it works. Go
Okay.
ahead and fire completely.
Ah. Okay, explain the plot, Jacob. Do it now. Okay, one second. I'm just gonna go ahead. And
Yeah,
do this.
just so you know how it works.
Who
This
am I?
is a bad class to do it on because this class overheats the slowest. But so, and then when this happens, you press
Okay,
R2 when
R2
it's
there.
inside one of
Gotcha,
those. Yeah,
gotcha,
if you press it
gotcha.
outside of the red in the red, it has to restart
Okay,
the whole
now I know.
process. Anyway, so basically, the opening crawl says the dead speak. Palpatine's voice is heard across the galaxy. This is weird because he's dead, right? So Kylo Ren, after the last movie, he's running the bad guys now, and he's concerned that if Palpatine's around, Palpatine may try to steal his power. He needs more of it, you see. He still hasn't even got the Yamato yet. So he decides to head out and find Palpatine. He does this by finding a space MacGuffin map. It looks like a Sith holocron, and I bet that at one
not.
point in the screenplay it was a Sith holocron, but then some Disney executive somewhere said,
What's a Sith
holocron? Audiences will be confused. Call it a Sith wayfinder, because that sounds like a thing that people know. So he finds a little triangle that you guys have, if you've been watching the Jedi Fallen Order playthrough, you've seen a Jedi holocron. It's a little cube thing. The Sith ones are
They're
triangles
just
because
triangles.
they're
That's
evil.
the only difference.
Because pyramids, because the reptilians.
Because Bill Cipher, guys.
Basically this little gizmo
Oh,
gives
this feels weird.
this gizmo lets Kylo Ren find his way to
Wait, let me crouch. Why won't it let me crouch?
hold.
Oh, hold it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Also, down on the D-pad to swap shoulders.
Cool.
Because
I
you were
love
never
this.
going to figure that out on your own.
Wait, down on the D-pad?
Down on the D-pad to swap shoulders. Isn't that intuitive? It's not like you have to take your fingers off of the stick that you use to move, or the triggers that you use to shoot in order to swap shoulders.
Dude, it's the freaking crab claw. You gotta go with the. It's great.
So Kylo Ren finds Emperor Palpatine, who is on.
He's a ghoul.
He's on Sith planet. And according to the novel, it's a clone, but it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
Palpatine says, "I will help you to defeat Rey. I know a secret." And then it cuts to Rey, who is training. She's learning the Force. Whatever. She's reading her Jedi books. And then they do some really embarrassing stuff with leftover footage of Carrie Fisher. They should have just had her die off screen between movies. It's honestly way more disrespectful to have these weirdo scenes that they shoved her leftover footage into, where like they do these reverse shots where Rey walks up and says a sentence, and then they use a line from a deleted scene from Force Awakens, and they tried desperately to make it make sense in the scene, and it honestly would have been better if they just let her die off screen between movies. And then they use the leftover footage for a Force ghost of her at one point, right?
Yeah.
Or like for something that Rey sees in the distance. That's in the rewrite that I'm not going to talk about more right now. Anyway, so basically Rey is training, and meanwhile, Finn and Poe are off.
Oh no.
Finn and Poe
Okay.
are doing space things. They're off doing.
No, please.
That was he threw you with his force.
No.
You're still crouching. You need to sprint or stand up because you're really gonna get killed there.
No. How am I the only one that was actually defending B?
I don't know. Seems like he's taking that point though.
Darth Maul, you bastard. Oh, you too. Hi.
So Finn and Poe are doing space adventures, and they're trying to get information about this weirdo broadcast of Palpatine, right?
Oh, what?
That's if you hold it down, it goes first
no.
person. You have to tap it to switch,
Oh,
Joshua.
no.
Do you see what I meant about you need to play against AI first because the controls in this game are weird? Oh, you were assisted by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Obi-Wan
Obi-Man.
Kenobi. Very
Thank you,
cool.
Obi-Man Kenobi. Oh, dude, if they don't cap these in the next 10 seconds, you're gonna win. Good
Yes,
job.
I'm so good at video games.
This is why it's better to. This is why it's better to play attack on
Is there fall damage?
against AI than defend because
Ah!
usually I
died right at the end.
overtime. Never mind. 'Cause
Dang it.
There's still people on the points. They're still being
Dang
contested.
it. That's why Yoda available.
You can play as
My
Yoda if you want.
favorite guy.
Or you can play as a clone commando. Oh, how would you play? God, I've never won.
I've
I've never seen more than every time. I've literally had an
Wait,
experience.
they actually got it. Oh my god.
When I was practicing earlier today, just reminding myself of how to play this, I went into a room and I saw my teammates all turn left and start shooting at something, right?
Not if anything to say about it, I have.
I turned and looked to see what my teammates were shooting at. And I couldn't see anything, so I was like, "Oh, they must have killed it."
God, this
and then
is awful.
And then I turned around and walked away, and then Yoda killed me from behind, and I was like, "I forgot Yoda's in this game because I never play as him, and every time I see him, I go, oh right, Yoda does like flips and has a lightsaber and stuff." Because I tried desperately to bleach that from my mind, but I always forget.
Not if
so you
anything
have
to say about
this
it.
guy also has a grenade launcher.
Okay.
He also has L1 and R1 gives him basically increased defense, and L1 is a close range force push.
Okay.
He has a shock blast repulsor that will knock people off their feet, which means you can actually. I will use this guy, and Jedi will Jedi will underestimate
Die,
me.
you son of a bitch.
Jedi will underestimate me. They'll run up and get into my face, and I will shoot them and knock them over with my Force Blast, and then I'll pull out my grenade launcher and shoot them 3 times.
Why is it? Okay, I was about to say shoulder for that is like. Oh.
You also will want to keep in mind that this is the only gun in the game that actually has a clip.
Wait, it has a clip?
Yes, this game
Sick.
actually has ammo, and this gun actually has ammo and reloads like a normal gun.
Like Republic
because it
Commando.
has to be like Republic Commando. This is the only gun in the game that actually has a magazine. It doesn't
God bless.
overheat. If you let it sit, it doesn't reload on its own. You have to reload it manually. Anyway, Finn and Poe get information about Palpatine being alive, and Rey, gosh, I don't even remember how they get to the next part of the movie.
That's always a bad sign.
I think she has a vision. Here's the thing. Most of this movie is a MacGuffin hunt where they're doing like this Indiana Jones adventure. And it's like, this is what we were talking about earlier when we said the movie has too much plot for its own good. because they're trying to find a MacGuffin, and there's a bunch of things they have to do. They find a clue, and then that leads them to another clue, and another clue.
Oh, shut up.
You were the one who was referencing
Nick
National
Cage's
Treasure
dad.
incessantly the other day.
I was. Because you kept talking about
That'll
it.
lead them to another clue, and another clue.
I forget what context we were even talking about it in. I just know you mentioned it. You were like, you kept saying clue.
Anyway, you don't remember. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna talk about it. It doesn't matter.
I don't remember, actually.
So, we were talking about, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I think Rey might have a force vision about a spaceship that she remembers from when she was a little kid, and then somebody knows that it's parked in the desert somewhere on a desert planet, I think. I may be wrong.
Yeah.
She goes to a desert planet to find a ship. Lando Calrissian is there because he has to be in the movie. He doesn't have much to do, unfortunately. Before the movie even came out, I came up with kind of some cool ideas about Lando. And not to say, like, I'm smarter than anybody else, but, like, granted, like, I'm not sure that Billy D. Williams can really get around that well anymore.
Yeah, he can't.
So I'm not sure that he could do much in the movie in the first place. But anyway, they find a spaceship out in the desert that's the spaceship that Rey remembers dropping her off on the planet on Jakku when she was a kid. That she remembers flying away in her dream.
Oh, thanks, Yoda. Where did Yoda go? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yoda. Very cool.
I think that's what happens. This also has a clue on it about Palpatine's location. I don't remember how they know this.
Yeah.
They find a Sith knife on the ship. It's an ancient ceremonial Sith dagger. And it has Sith script on it, which technically C-3PO can translate, but his ethics protocols prevent him from translating Sith text. So they need to go somewhere to hack C-3PO's brain to override his ethics protocol so that he will actually translate the knife for them. So they have to go to World War II planet, which was somewhere I wish they'd spent more time. It seemed like a really complicated set.
Oh my god! Stop T-posing behind me,
You were
Goku.
outside of the objective, so he wasn't, like, allowed to fight you, I think. He's messing with your mind.
my mind! Heroic. What does that mean?
Heroic sacrifice.
Go without me.
You just get pity points if you die, basically.
I'm done running.
You just get pity points if you die. You got plenty of battle points, by the way. You could just keep playing as the Commando if you want to,
Yeah,
or the
no,
ARC
I'm
Trooper.
gonna play as Yoda.
The ARC Trooper is also good, and the Jet Trooper is difficult, but he also has a rocket launcher, which helps. Because it's hard to be accurate when you're flying through the air on a jetpack, but if you have a rocket launcher, accuracy doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go to the World War II planet, World War II French village planet, which was a nice, like, aesthetic kind of feeling for Star Wars, and I wish they'd spent more time there. It would have been fun.
You don't see much of snow in Star Wars unless it's only snow.
Yeah, like just to see like a snowy town that people live in. Poe's ex-girlfriend shows up, so we can confirm that he's not gay.
That he has a case of the not.
That he has a case of the not gays. He is definitely not gay, guys.
We swear.
He is into the lady from Lost. Is he from Lost? She's from Alias. She's in something that J.J. Abrams worked on previously.
She's in something from J.J. Abrams' past, because every single person.
And Rose isn't allowed to be in the movie anymore.
She's gone. She died.
Yeah, she's gone. Well, she's in the movie for like 5 seconds.
She doesn't die, but she died.
Apparently, she had some deleted scenes that got cut.
Of course.
Because JJ, and I shouldn't say JJ because it might not have been his fault. The studio.
I think it was probably Disney.
There was someone somewhere at Disney was a big coward. Remember when everybody's like, listen, everybody's like, all the fanboys who were like, I'm glad that they removed Rose because I didn't like her. You remember that time when George Lucas, Chad that he is, made Jar Jar Binks look at the camera and smirk in Attack of the Clones? That's right, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. Double down, baby. Always double down.
Yeah,
always believe in your justice.
I'm not a huge fan of Rose as a character, but at the same time, what they did in that film was heartless. It was not
spineless.
Heartless, it's spineless. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely spineless.
Completely spineless.
What a cowardly film. Anyway,
hey.
so they go to the town and they translate the Sith dagger, and the Sith dagger says that the Sith treasure is in the ruins of the Death Star. So they fly to where the Death Star is, and at this point the movie is like half over and not much has happened yet. There's also a very brief bit where Chewbacca gets captured and they have to go rescue him.
And then he dies.
Well, no.
That's later.
I'm skipping over where he dies because it didn't matter. They go. Chewbacca gets kidnapped, and it seems like he dies, but he didn't. They go to rescue him. This gives Kylo Ren an excuse to tell Rey, I have been told the secret of your past by the Palpatine, because you see, when I said that your parents were nobodies, They were nobodies, but it was your grandfather who was someone, because your grandfather is
won, apparently.
Palpatine, or a clone of Palpatine, or something.
How do I check the stats?
Hold down the touchpad.
Hold down touchpad.
Maybe it's just press. I don't know.
Hold
I think it's too late.
down.
I think it's too late. You can't see it now that this victory screen is
Hold
up.
down. Okay, I'm going to the actual gamer game now.
You can go to the gamer game if you want to. You're gonna get your ass kicked, but go right ahead.
And I'll be all right.
So then at this point,
Let me out. Let me out.
you can't leave. This is loading screen.
What? Oh, okay.
This game is very poorly designed. You could have quit if you'd hit O before this screen came up, but now that the screen has come up, you can't quit. In instant action, at least you can't. In the main game, you can. This is where it does matchmaking, and you could leave if you wanted to, but whatever. Anyway, I recommend playing if you go to more. Also, Heroes versus Villains is fun, but it takes a minute to figure out what you're doing.
Yeah.
Galactic Assault, Blast, and Strike and Extraction are like normal video games. Supremacy is fun, but it's just like if the match doesn't go your way, or it can go if the match.
If your team is bad.
No. If your team is bad, that's great because the game is over fast. If both teams are good, that's when it's bad. You want to get steamrolled or be steamrolled in Galactic Assault. You don't want to have a good time.
You mean in Supremacy?
Supremacy, yeah.
Okay,
Galactic
cool.
Assault's normal. Galactic Assault was what you were playing a second ago, basically.
Okay, I got you.
So who cares about General Huck's double agenting? Who cares? It doesn't even matter.
Oh, God,
in my rewrite,
I forgot about that.
in my rewrite, it's a plot element, but not in the movie that exists.
I just want Kylo Ren to lose.
Which makes sense,
No,
but then it doesn't go
make sense,
anywhere.
but then it doesn't go anywhere. Then he just dies.
I was like,
unceremoniously.
okay, that makes sense for him, I guess, and then he's just removed from the movie.
I thought he was gonna like not just like be a spy. He was gonna like actually provide information about the inner workings of the First Order.
That's what my rewrite does, by the way.
Because then, yeah, it's like, hey, our ships all have a. Oh wait, I forgot. There is actually a stupid ass weak point. I was about to say all of our ships have a stupid ass weak point, right?
Well,
here,
wait
but
a
then
second. There is a
actually
stupid ass
one.
weak point. Anyway. Oh, you're at the very ending of a match. This is the last point to cap
I got
for
this,
attackers.
guys.
This is the last point to
I
cap
picked the
for
wrong
attackers.
class,
Is the
it's
throne
fine.
room.
Ah!
Okay, hold on. Stop. Go back. Go back. Go back. Look at to your left. Not at the pictures of Padme. Those make sense. Over here. Why is there a picture of that guy?
This guy's an asshole.
What's with that? What was he was just like some guy in her cabinet.
Like, you must contact me.
Why does he get a picture? He was just some guy, wasn't he?
No, please.
He can't come back here. That's out of territory for him.
Heroic sacrifice. I don't know how oh, that was another.
Yeah, that was Aiden. She's yeah.
Who
She's from Battlefront 2. She's a new character for Battlefront 2. She's the head of Inferno Squad. She's a Sith commando.
Yeah,
not a
she's
Sith
the
commando,
lady.
a Imperial
It's
commando.
the lady.
Don't
Let the palace fall, guys.
You're gonna lose in a second,
No,
but
I'm
that's
not.
okay.
It's
You
only
definitely
contested,
are.
and they have 40 people. Eat this, gamers. Oh, that's bad.
That's Palpatine.
That's Palpy right there.
He doesn't have a lightsaber, but he likes to fly around and shoot Sith lightning at you.
He's like, ah.
He likes to shoot Sith lightning at
Where
people.
they at? Where
You're gonna
they
have to
at?
get out there and fight, guy.
Ah. Oh, what the hell is this game?
You got shot. You died.
I can't even tell what's happening.
Yeah, I know.
Spawn available in 3, 2.
You know how when people like look at FF7 remake
go,
and
let
they're
me
like,
go.
this looks like it's chaos, I don't understand it, but once you play it, it's like this is actually
Yeah,
like really
yeah.
This game is absolute abject chaos. When you get to sometimes
Okay, yeah, we're about to lose.
when you get to this is probably the most chaotic room in the entire game.
Got him.
This
Oh,
is
okay, there's
this
another
is
guy.
the most chaotic room in perhaps the entire game. No, there's one. No, the final phase on one of the Endor maps is the most chaotic room on the entire game.
Okay.
This is the second most chaotic room in the entire
How are
game.
we still in this?
Because as long as you have people standing in there, they can't cap.
Oh, no.
And your meter's gone back down, which means they've been forced out. So
Oh,
you
nice.
did regain control for a minute. Your meter's gone back down by almost a
start
third.
chucking grenades.
Well, they reload pretty slow.
Eat this.
You threw that at your own guys.
Shut up. I can't see what's happening. Okay. This is actual chaos. This is abject chaos.
Anyway, so
Ah!
yeah, Kylo Ren says your dad's Palpatine. Rey's having a lot of Force stuff going on in this movie. She's really unsure about a lot of things. She's still a little bit unsure about her place in the galaxy, and there's aspects of Rise of Skywalker that I'm honestly a little bit into. There's aspects of it that are interesting.
Oh, that's bad.
They attempt to do things with the characters at a couple of times, a couple of moments. There's like some points that kind of worked a little bit.
Yeah.
They just don't have a lot of follow through. And they're too busy. They're too busy undoing stuff the previous movie was doing to spend much time doing their own thing. Is the real problem. But anyway,
Overtime. Oh god. Oh god. Oh
So
no.
they take the Sith dagger
Oh, we
and
lost.
go to. They take the Sith dagger.
Mission filed.
They take the Sith dagger and they go to the wreckage of the Death Star, where Rey pulls out a little gizmo that when you stand on the right cliff of the... I'm not even going to go into this. Everybody knows that it's stupid, and if you don't know, I don't even know how to explain to you how it's stupid. Basically, she has a little MacGuffin that tells her the exact part of the wreckage of the Death Star where the Emperor's throne room was.
I hate that thing so much.
When she goes there, she finds a Sith room that has a Sith wayfinder in it that'll tell her where the Sith planet is. Kylo Ren shows up. They fight. It's very... So basically, whenever Kylo Ren and Rey only fight twice in the movie, really. And neither of them wants to kill the other one.
Oh wait, I went 5 and 5. When did I kill people?
They have objectives that conflict, but neither of them actually desire to kill the other one. Which, like, the first fight that they do with kind of the interesting editing back and forth where they're, like, fighting across space is a little bit neat. It's kind of cool. And there they are fighting over, like, they're trying to acquire an item from one another. So, like, the fight still makes sense. Then when they're fighting on the Death Star, it's like, it just feels like... It feels like they're just beating each other. And, like, honestly, I almost thought it was what they were going for because there's no music. They both seem exhausted. I was like, maybe the point of this scene is supposed to show that they're both tired. Like, that they neither of them really want to be doing this. I was almost into the feeling of that for, like, a half a second. But it was like, it felt like it wasn't quite executed right. But anyway, Rey manages to get the upper hand for a half a second. He gets distracted because Leia dies, and he senses it through the Force. She dies of space cancer or something. She dies of space cancer. It doesn't matter. So Rey manages to get the upper hand on him and stab him for a second. But then she uses Force Heal on him to close up the wound and save his life. Which people freaked out that it's so stupid that she can do that. But it's like, Force Heal exists in the canon of Star Wars. What do you think it is in KOTOR when people go and heal people with the Force? And indeed... Darth Sidious says that people have the ability to... Plagueis had the ability to stop people from dying.
So that's just super good Force Heal, I guess.
It's not even like... It honestly feels a little bit appropriate to me thematically for the series to end with somebody actually acquiring that power and using it to sacrifice themselves to save somebody else. Like, it wasn't built too appropriately, but the idea at least kind of makes sense to me, if I'm being totally honest. I kind of like the idea of the ending being someone sacrificing that the magic that Anakin was after the whole time, to literally bring someone back to life requires sacrificing your own life. I kind of like that. I think that's kind of neat. It wasn't developed well enough to get there and to be satisfying, and the ending of that movie still feels weird. But I'm skipping ahead. I think that's interesting. That Darth Vader kills Padme, and then Kylo Ren and Rey use that power that he was after to save each other, right? Yeah. I think that's kind of neat. I see what they were going for. I don't think that it was executed well, but I think that I think the idea was in somebody's brain, and I think it was an okay idea. This map I haven't played as much. It's actually I kind of like this map. This map's kind of fun.
I just don't like the jumping. Oh my gosh, it looks like. Okay, wait, can I knock it out? No, please.
No, you're stuck in gay baby jail now. There you go, you did it.
I'm good at video games, guys.
No, dude, the geometry and movement and shooting, this game feels really awkward to play. I just wish that there was a good Star Wars game that I could play.
No, that's too much to ask.
1 second, folks.
I'm so good at video games, you guys. Okay, never mind. I'm bad at video games, guys. Got him.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
What? Did we lose something?
It says we're experiencing buffering. Are you guys seeing a lot of buffering on your end? It still shows that we're broadcasting well, but YouTube says that you guys are having issues. OBS says everything is working properly. YouTube says there's an error and we're not buffering and we're buffering. You guys let me know, please, if you see issues happening.
Man, I'm playing this like Uncharted 1, where I'm using my shoulder swap to just cheese it.
Yeah, a little bit, huh? Anyway, so, okay, now it just dove. OBS just dove a second ago. Yeah, there's definitely something. Hold on. Somebody says not really in chat, but we'll see if anybody says anything in a second.
Yeah, it might just be that OBS is behind.
Okay, never mind. Now YouTube says stream is healthy.
Okay, cool. Wait, why is there a car?
That's a car. I killed the car. That's one of the vehicles you can spawn in with battle points on this map. That's the Rebels have a vehicle.
I've only seen like 4 people. which I think means we're doing really well. Because I'm, like, right by one of the objectives.
But yeah, I don't mind the, oh
shit. That's a sniper. I'm dead.
I don't mind the idea of what was kind of what they're trying to do in that movie. It just wasn't terribly well executed. Anyway, so at this point, Rey stabs Kylo Ren, and she leaves. And basically, she's been having, like...
Where am I?
You're inside the base. You gotta
Okay.
go back outside. Rey has been having, like... Because this fight proceeds into, and you're right by the exit.
They haven't even started taking either of them yet.
The movie involves Rey kind of having, like... Again, if I'm getting some stuff wrong, I only saw the movie once. I usually have pretty good recall on entertainment, though. It's kind of...
I forgot everything. No, not...
Why did you try to jump over it at all?
Because I thought I could parkour, Jacob.
I usually have really, really good recall on, like, media things, honestly. I don't know why. I'm just good at retaining stuff. Even from things that I only watched once or wasn't that engaged in, I tend to hold on to stuff pretty well. But anyway, so Rey has been having, like, force seizures throughout the entire movie, and, like, dark side stuff is happening
holy
to
crap,
her.
Mitch Trubisky is in the game with me? I guess he lost his starting job, and now it's fine. No one gets that reference, probably.
Rey has been having little force seizures throughout the entire movie, and when she finds out that Palpatine is her granddad, and when she holds the Sith triangle,
the ghoul triangle,
she has even more, and so she gets really freaked out that she's gonna hurt her friends, basically. So she winds up hopping in a ship and flying to the planet where Luke exiled himself, Achu or whatever it's called. And she's gonna exile herself there, but then Luke says, no, you gotta go back and you gotta, what was that thing floating over to your right?
I don't know and I don't care.
Was that a combat?
Like, I just don't want to die, okay?
What was that? It just drifted across the screen.
Shush. Oh, I have to hold down to crouch.
I told you that. So the whatchamacallit, Luke, I'll loop back to Luke in a second, because what happens with...
Hey, we win.
What happens with Kylo is more
that
interesting.
Was the most...
So Kylo is left sitting on the wreckage of the Death Star, thinking to himself about how pathetic his life is and the mistakes that he's made along the way. And then because Carrie Fisher wasn't around anymore, they actually got Harrison Ford back. They kept it a secret. I don't think anybody knew about it before the movie happened.
That was actually
And they actually have a really...
Mitch Trubisky was the best guy in the game. If only he could quarterback that well.
He has a really good...
Damn.
And he has actually a really, really good scene where Kylo Ren talks with the ghost of Han Solo for a little bit. And he basically realizes that what I'm trying to do is stupid. Like this, I've ruined my own life trying to do all of this. I'm gonna stop now. And he decides he's gonna help Rey. Rey, meanwhile, is on Achu. And that's what it's called. It's called Achu.
Is it actually?
It's called Acto. But when you read it, it looks like Achu. Something like that. So basically, Rey's gonna strand herself on the island and do what Luke did. And this is where the Last Jedi, like, we're trying to say we're sorry, gets really stupid, because like it shows that like the people who are writing it either didn't understand the Last Jedi, or they're just curtailing to the interpretation people had of the Last Jedi. I don't care if you didn't like the Last Jedi or not, but like the point.
Class.
How do I put this? The point of The Last Jedi is that Luke realizes he's wrong. Like, everybody was like, oh, Luke would never say this stuff. Yeah, at the end of the movie, he realizes that everything that he said was wrong. But then in this scene in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey is like, I'm gonna do what you said, Luke. I'm gonna do everything that you said that I disagreed with in the last movie. And then he says, no, Rey, I was wrong. As I demonstrated at the ending of the last movie,
Where I said
when
I
I
was
said that I
wrong.
was wrong and I did everything that you said that I should do. So, like, it's literally written by, like, it's written to apologize for the movie in a way that's, like...
Oh, that was a grenade, apparently.
It's literally an apology to people who, like, weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care if you didn't like if you thought The Last Jedi was a bad movie, that's fine. But that apology is not apologizing for what happened in the movie. It's apologizing for the perception of what happened in that movie. Anyway, at this point, Luke says, hey, Rey, here's a cool lightsaber. This was Leia's lightsaber. She gave it to me because she had a vision of the future that when she completed her Jedi training, her son would die, which is really weird.
Since her son dies anyway, spoiler.
Well, no, that's the point. She completed her Jedi training by becoming one with the Force and dying, and then within the next couple of hours, Kylo Ren died. That was what was happening at the ending of the movie.
Okay, that actually kind of makes sense.
It's
but
pretty
I
stupid,
really don't
though.
care.
It's pretty stupid. How do you feel, Sheen? Pretty stupid. Anyway, but do they jam out to jizz on Akchu? I don't know, man. I don't know if those weird whale nuns listen to jizz or
Whale
not.
nuns.
Yeah, the little caretakers who
Yeah,
are
I
around
know,
in the Last
I know
Jedi.
what they are. Okay, I was in like the grenade or something.
Yeah, that was a shock. That was an area denial grenade that you walked through. You were complaining to me about walking into fire before, and then you walked into electricity, and you were paying
I
attention.
didn't know what the electricity was.
What did you
Jacob.
think it was?
Fire is a universal bad. Okay.
Did you think sparking electricity lightning bolts on the ground was gonna give you a power boost?
That's what it did for Palpatine.
No, it didn't. He killed himself doing that.
He's like, I am too weak.
I'm turning into a ghoul because they're reflecting my lightning bolts back at me.
And then he became more powerful.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He became less powerful.
Well, he turned into a ghoul.
Yeah, that was later though. Anyway, so basically, Luke says this thing about when Leia completes her Jedi training. She stopped training because she had a Force vision that her son would die when she did this, which is very weird.
Very strange.
But this is just me. Like I can think of maybe 5 times ever in fiction that a prophecy has been involved in the plot line and I've liked it. So we're gonna just skip over that. This scene also
Oh my
involves. I was
God.
talking about. I don't remember a ton of fan service.
How did they get up there?
He has a jetpack.
Oh.
I don't remember a ton of fan service from Rise of Skywalker. However, it did contain probably the most annoying piece of fan service in all of Star Wars, other than that time when Jyn Erso and the other guy,
Guy McAccent.
Guy
No,
McAccent.
it's Calrissian Andor. I'm not even joking.
Whatever.
That's his name.
I was trying to, like, I believe you, because I don't know. When they are walking through the street and they bump into You'll Be Dead guy.
Oh,
that's
God.
the worst it's ever been, I think. Except maybe Darth Vader.
Oh my God! Let me see what I'm shooting at.
Except maybe for the fact that Darth Vader.
Oh, I thought that was my guy.
Yeah.
They have walkers.
That's a Clone Wars walker. See, that's so
yeah.
there's balance, so
you're
they have
right.
something. It's
Yeah.
not nearly as good as the AT-ST because you can
Okay.
shoot the pilot out of
I
it.
was very confused.
Why did you do that again?
I can make it through, Jacob. It's all about endurance. I'm getting good. Oh my God. Oh, the aiming is so bad, dude.
You remember how Knack is a platformer with de-emphasized jumping?
Oh my God.
This is a third-person shooter with de-emphasized aiming.
aiming.
So
This is Vietnam Simulator right now. I'm just shooting into weeds. And
I've
hoping
heard this
someone.
from multiple sources, including the Dunkey review. He said that the shooting feels terrible on a controller, but decent with mouse and keyboard. But the Starship
flying,
stuff
yeah,
is
is
terrible with mouse and
and-
keyboard, but good with gamepad.
Which is weird. You just make it the way War Thunder does it, and then it feels great.
I will say, the Starfighter stuff in this game is my favorite part of it.
Yeah,
like, by
I
a
assume.
wide margin. I've had a lot of fun with the normal multiplayer, but I didn't touch the Starfighter mode for a while. And once I did, I was like, and it also I bounced off of it hard because it's pretty technical. You got to learn a lot of stuff. Once I got into it, it's a lot of fun.
Then get Star Wars Squadrons, Jacob.
I did.
Oh.
Anyway, I haven't installed it yet, but I'll play it eventually, possibly on this show a little bit.
Oh, this aiming. Hello, Nintendo.
When King
What the F is
Crowbo
this
says,
aiming?
quick intermission. When you stop and think about Palpatine's plan, you realize, damn, this really could have gone horribly wrong for him at like 89 different points. No, Palpatine's plan only works because he could see the future and he knew exactly what was going to happen.
I hate that. I hate when villains can see.
I'm not going to get into. We're talking about the Rise of Skywalker right now, and we don't need to like justify criticizing this movie by going back and talking about how the prequels are bad. But like, I could talk for multiple hours just about Palpatine's plan, and it's like it's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
Where the hell are the enemies? Oh my God.
Up there, where the lasers are coming
Hey.
from.
Hey.
You can't aim with that gun, you know.
Wait, why do I just get points for dying?
It's just, like I said, it's a sympathy point. 100 points is nothing. You need 4,000 to buy anything.
Okay.
It's just sympathy points for dying. You get 100 points anytime you die. It's just sympathy
Okey-dokey.
points to help you get to potentially buy something to help you get back in the game. Anyway, yeah. So
Oh, what the? I got locked.
other than perhaps You'll Be Dead guy showing up in Rogue One, and the fact that I think the worst one is Darth Vader built C-3PO when he was a baby. I think that might be the worst one in the entire franchise. I think everybody's desensitized to it because we've known it for 21 years at this point, And a lot of younger people, like, that became an accepted fact a couple of years after they started watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that
It's horrible.
baby
It's
Anakin,
terrible.
baby Darth Vader made C-3PO might be the most insane fan service thing that's happened in the entire franchise.
Oh my god, what is happening?
I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, this is literally Vietnam Simulator.
There's worse ones.
2017.
There's worse one. The fact that Boba Fett. People like Boba Fett, huh? What if there's an army of
Boba
hundreds
Fett?
of? What if there's an army of
Boba Fett
hundreds
where?
of Boba Fetts? What if there's an army of hundreds of Boba Fetts?
Okay.
That'd be cool,
Oh
right?
my god. These. Oh.
Why are you
God.
screaming so much? It's not as bad as you're making it out to be.
It just feels like soup.
It does feel like soup, doesn't it?
I've been playing a lot of PC shooters recently. Okay?
You haven't played a console shooter in
Yeah,
months. 'cause
Yeah,
you don't
I
have
a PC at college. And
Yeah,
that's
you
all
don't
I
have a
got.
console out there. So yeah, this would feel bad. This would feel pretty bad, I would imagine. Was that Obi-Wan Kenobi? Old Ben Kenobi?
He lives out beyond the. What?
You got killed.
Oh.
By Yoda.
Where?
He was down there.
Where was he?
He was down there. He was at your ankles, and he cut your ankles out, and you died. It's that simple.
What?
What do you mean, what? What do you want? Did you want a big Yoda prompt that was like, Yoda's over here?
Maybe. Honestly, yeah, I'll take it.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen, says Video City 1.
Yeah. No, it's not as he foreseen. It's
21 years ago, oof, I feel old now, it says
Yeah, me too.
Blanc. Yeah, uh-huh. It was a while ago, wasn't
it's
it?
Yoda. What? What?
What do you mean, what?
What is, oh, it was an Ewok.
He threw fireflies at you from Final Fantasy X, and that's a debuff. And then he shot you with his bow. There's a lot of moving pieces in Star Wars Battlefront 2, my guy.
I really am not enjoying this.
It's a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Finish your story synopsis, please.
So anyway, when I was talking about, I can't remember a lot of like obnoxious fan service from Rise of Skywalker. I'm sure there was some. I just can't think of it. It does contain what is quite possibly my least favorite fan service moment. Maybe not the worst one, but my least favorite one because of how dumb it is.
Never mind.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. That was a bad idea what you did there.
I couldn't see it.
You turned on, no, just turning on your minigun at all was a bad idea.
Okay, I didn't know what the minigun did.
Minigun is for holding choke points and nothing
Oh.
else. It's for
Oh.
firing incessantly at a corner until someone comes around the corner. You will feel the dark side. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew.
So what do I do?
You hit R2 to swing your lightsaber. You hold L2 to block lasers, but it's based on stamina. You can press R1 and L1 at the same time to force choke people. You can press L1 to throw your lightsaber, and you can press R1 to spin at somebody like Palpatine does in the fight with Mace Windu.
I can't see anything.
Because you got hit with a flashbang, dude.
Wait, why
You're
do
attacking
heroes-
rocks.
Why do heroes get hit by flashbangs?
Because otherwise it would be totally unbalanced, dude.
Oh my god.
You're getting killed. You gotta attack people with your
Unlimited
lightsaber.
Power.
You're almost.
this
You
is
got. You
worse
have 4
than
health
playing
left.
as a
There you
regular
go.
guy.
You have 4 health left, and you died.
That's so much worse than playing as a regular guy. Oh, okay. I don't like this game. This game is bad.
It's too late. The rebels have wiped their data banks.
King Crossbow, and then you go into Legends material, and literally everyone is just like, yes, holy crap, the plan came so close to failing like a million times. Palpatine won because of luck, not force. He just kept rolling nat 20s for the entire war.
Basically.
Yeah. Anyway, so at this, like I said, so here's the thing, right? The reason that this moment is so bad to me is because it's stacking bad fan service. In the original movie, when they're on the Millennium Falcon, if you want to quit and go to a different mode, you had to hit O
it's
right
fine.
now before you match into
No,
something else.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, whatever. In the original film, they're on the Millennium Falcon. Oh crap, OBS is crapping its pants again.
Ah, shit.
Hold on. I think it's figuring out what it wants to do. Okay, whatever. In the original movie, on the Millennium Falcon, right? The whatchamacallit, Luke is using his lightsaber, and he's got like this little thing that's shooting little laser balls, right? Little laser blasts. And like, I would assume, I wouldn't imagine that like, this is like a thing that, Obi-Wan had sitting around that he brought with him. That's like a thing that he plays with. I assume it's like a toy or piece of junk that just Han Solo has sitting around. And it's like this improvised thing that he's doing, right? To train Luke. Maybe the thing is his. I don't know. What is definitely not his is the helmet with the blast shield down. He just picks it up and gives it to Luke and puts it on so that he can to try and teach him about the Force, right? It's just him trying to improvise this little thing to demonstrate something both to the audience and to the character, right?
Oh, great. Now people are saying I'm bad at video games. I've never played a dice shooter in my life. Give me some credit, okay? Dang.
So yeah, guys, he's literally touching this game for the first time ever. He's never touched this.
Well, I played the original Battlefront.
Yeah,
like,
he never
from 2004.
He didn't even touch the beta of this game. He's never
I
touched
the
this.
beta of the first one for like, I don't know, an hour or maybe 2, and I was like, this is fun. Can't wait for the game to have content, and then it didn't.
And he hasn't held up, unless you've played something on your roommate's PS4. I don't think you've used a PlayStation 4 controller in like 6 months either.
I have a USB GameCube controller that I use for emulated games. I didn't say emulated. You can't prove that I did. And then
Nintendo's gonna sue you too now.
Oh no!
Silva Gunner reported that the entire soundtracks from Mario 64, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart Wii, and a couple of others all got taken down simultaneously.
Man, Nintendo's my favorite and least favorite company at the exact same time.
Pretty bad. But kind of great.
Yeah, it's like
kind
they make
of
some
terrible.
of the best games ever, and yet they're evil.
Well, that's that tweet. I retweeted some other Nintendo stuff recently. Oh no, I retweeted stuff about Cyberpunk. People in review bombs for that. But I saw one that was like, Nintendo drones when Nintendo shuts down the North America Open for Splatoon because they showed solidarity with the Smash community. Ugh, whatever. They just shouldn't complain. They should stop being babies. Nintendo drones when Nintendo announces a Smash DLC character that they don't like. Switch snapped in half. Anyway, so, it's like, oh, Obi-Wan improvised this little training thing for Luke, right? Whatever. Then you get to Attack of the Clones, and there's all these kids who all have lightsabers, and they're all wearing helmets with this shield on that didn't make sense in the first place. The blast shield already didn't make sense. It was already a silly thing. They're all wearing the same type of helmet that Han Solo happened to have on his ship, and they're all using the little blaster ball that I guess Obi-Wan kept that around if it's a Jedi thing. Like, it was such a stupid, like, I think it was probably George thinking, I need to win some fans back because people were upset after the Phantom Menace. And he shoved a bunch of really brain-dead fan service into Attack of the Clones. And that one's one of the stupidest because then it's like, oh, this thing that Obi-Wan did on this ship with like 5 seconds to think is an official training regimen where they have 5-year-olds in a room all standing as close to each other as Joshua and I are sitting, and they're all swinging lightsabers like this and miraculously not killing each other. It's just so dumb. And then they decided to take that to the nth degree of stupidity, because when Luke is talking about Leia's Jedi training,
Oh, come on.
it cuts to a scene where Luke and Leia are both doing... Do you remember what I'm about to talk about, Joshua?
I believe so.
It cuts to a scene where Luke was training Leia.
Yeah, I remember this.
And they are both running through the jungle. They are both wearing blast shield helmets. I mean, I wouldn't even mind it if they were, like,
so bad.
blindfolded or whatever. But they're wearing blast shield helmets to make the deepfake special effects easier. And they're running around, and they both have their lightsabers out, and they're both full sprinting through the jungle and doing ninja flips over stuff and sparring with each other while blinded.
It looks so bad.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't know, maybe not the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's probably one of the dumbest things in the Star Wars sequels, though. Like, for the most part, actually, the fight scenes in the Star Wars sequels I really like, and I like that, especially they feel like a lot more, like, brutal and hard and
Yeah, they are.
slow compared to the... I mean, some of the choreography in the Star Wars prequels is good. Like, that Darth Maul fight is legitimately...
The Darth Maul fight is
incredible.
incredible.
Is legitimately really good. I'm not going to take that away from anybody. But, like the Dooku fight at the ending of Episode 2 is the worst fight in the entire franchise.
Correct.
The Anakin and Obi-Wan fight would be decent if it was like half the length, but it just goes on. If it has the lock, you can't damage it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if it says lock, if it has that little lock on it, you see the defend icons off to your left?
Yeah.
Those are ion disruptors. Basically, anyone who picks those up is marked for the entire enemy team, and they have to fire those at the MTT to disable its shields,
Okay,
and then
gotcha.
you can do damage to it for like a 10-second period or whatever. That's when the minigun is really good. It's good for objective destruction. So like when the shield goes down next time, if you're in a safe position, you could pop a minigun and really lay into it. Or the grenade launcher is also good. But when they're running through, flipping around with the blast shields on, that was I think the biggest eye roll that I did in the entire movie until 5 minutes later. But we'll get to that later. Shortly. Anyway, so Luke gives Rey Leia's lightsaber. I know we got really sidetracked from the recap, but we're also almost done recapping the movie. Not much happens after this.
Thank God.
So at this point, the Emperor starts his evil plan, which is that he has been producing tons of Star Destroyers for the biggest army the galaxy has ever seen. And they are all equipped with, well, I need to describe the pace of what happens.
Oh my
so you can describe
gosh.
exactly what, so basically, we see a Star Destroyer hovering over a planet, and there's a radio broadcast going out about a demonstration of the First Order's power, right? And we see on the Star Destroyer, there's a big F-off Vegna gun from FF-10-2.
Correct.
Strapped to the bottom, and it shoots at a planet, right? And we see on the surface a huge explosion as this town is destroyed, right? And then you cut to the wide of the planet, right? And I'm gonna recreate to you exactly what happened in my brain. You cut to the wide and you see like a major, like, you know, what we can see visually of one side of the planet. We see like, you know, a sixth of it heavily damaged, right? And you're like, wow, that's some serious artillery. That's pretty impressive. That's a really big threat.
Wait 1 second.
That's a really big threat that the Empire, that the First Order has. That they could wipe out basically any, you know, planetary look. They could wipe out a continent, you know, in a couple of minutes. That's pretty. They could glass an entire continent really fast. That's pretty tough. Then the cracks start spreading across the planet, and I went in my brain.
Oh no.
Wait a second, he's not about to. And then the whole planet blew
Abrams,
up.
baby, he loves
JJ, you
destroying
do
planets.
it. You did it again. You gotta stop. The dude has a planet destruction fetish. It's insane. He did it in the first Star Trek. He did it in Return of the... He blew up 7 in the Rise of the Sky, man. The Return of the Force.
That's
whatever
fine.
the other one does, he blew up 7 of
the
them.
Force.
Yeah, who cares? He did it again. And he strapped a little gun on the bottom of a Star Destroyer to do it. You gotta stop, man. When it blew up the one continent, I was like, oh, wow, that's a really cool threat. And then it blew up the whole planet, and that was the only time in the entire movie where I was like, in the theater.
Yeah, me and you both did that. I just started laughing. I remember, oh no.
You did not laugh out loud, but you started giggling next to me. I don't think anybody else in the theater could hear it, but I could hear
started
you.
giggling and say, like, I couldn't stop. I was like, I can't be mean to the other people in the audience and just start, like, guffawing. But
Norwega said, but Jacob, what about the Grievous fight? He has so many lightsabers, so it has to be good. Joshua and I were talking about just the other day. That's the equivalent of the Simpsons. I'm gonna stand over here, and I'm gonna swing my arms around, and if you get hit, it's your own fault.
Literally the exact same.
I cannot. The discrepancy between the Genndy Tartakovsky Grievous fish and canon Grievous.
Oh my gosh. Jenny Tartakovsky Grievous is so cool. He's so cool.
Genndy Tartakovsky Grievous stars in what is one of the top 5 fights in the entirety of Star Wars, I think.
Correct.
Like the entire canon of Star Wars. It's in the top 5. It's in this one random fight with a bunch of unnamed Jedi.
Rando Jedi. Besides, I guess, Kit-I Amadai and Shakti are there.
Kit-I, Shakti, Ayla Sakura, or whatever her name is, and Shaggy. Shaggy.
Shaggy is also there.
They're there, but there's like...
Shaggy also makes an appearance, correct.
He dies pretty quickly, though.
He dies very quickly, because he tries to run away like a little idiot.
Anyway, and then... I've talked about this before on the show. I think we might have talked about this in the Jedi Fallen Order playthrough.
I think we do.
But like Grievous is good in the Genndy Tartakovsky cartoon because of miscommunication.
On accident.
Because they were told the idea of him is that he's this badass Jedi hunter, and they said, oh, okay. And they produced the first season of the show, and in the intervening time, no one called them and said...
Kyle Ren, get away from me, please.
No one called them and said, hey, by the way, George has changed his mind. He wants him to be a mustache-twirling B villain who says something nefarious and runs away.
He wants him to be Captain Nefarious and Admiral Bone.
Which, if you've ever wondered why General Grievous is the worst part of the CGI Clone Wars cartoon, it's because that's how George Lucas wants him to be. That's the vision.
Yeah,
that's the intent.
He actually wants him to be the villain of the week, except every week.
Anyway, so Palpatine announces that he has a bunch of new Star Destroyers that can blow up planets, and we're now going to run we run it now. We run the galaxy now, so shut up and get out of here. And Wandering Flame, not Wandering Flame, Besaid I was looking for 27 minutes, so we'll bump forward.
I mean, it's 27 minutes?
I don't mind, because it's a good track.
I mean, it's a great track, but I didn't realize it had been that long.
Shaggy is the best Padawan, says someone. Video City 1 says, Clone Wars cartoon was released between 2 and 3. It should be canon. It was canon. You have to understand the way that the canon of Star Wars used to work. It was anything that was released was canon until it was overwritten by something else. The Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon was promoted as the official canon bridge between episodes 2 and 3, and it was. And for
Get out. I can't roll.
And for a little, well, you were stunned. You couldn't roll.
Oh, I couldn't roll while I was stunned? Okay.
No, for a little while, the comics and novels that were going on attempted to weave together to create a comprehensive canon of the between episodes 2 and 3 time period. There were a lot of mistakes and overlaps that didn't make sense because people weren't paying enough attention, but there was at least an attempt to maintain canon across books, comics, and the Genndy Tartakovsky cartoon after episode 2 was released and before episode 3 was released. Then when the Dave Filoni CGI Clone Wars cartoon released, basically the rule was everything else is now soft canon, and if the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon overwrites it, it is not canon. And within like 3 seasons, every piece of existing Clone Wars EU canon had been overwritten. They didn't care. They did not give a crap. And I'm not saying that's bad because I don't care about canon. If a story was fun, but it's not canon, that doesn't make it unfun. But like that's when people, I've talked about this before, and people complain about Disney making, like, I've seen people complain in comment sections on the Genndy Tartakovsky clips on YouTube, like, and then Disney went and made this non-canon. It hasn't been canon since like 2009.
It was made uncanon as soon as Dave Filoni and the boys overruled it.
The second,
I'm not saying that's even a bad thing. I'm just saying that's how it worked.
Yeah, it's been overwritten. It was overwritten essentially instantaneously by the Clone Wars cartoon for a bunch of reasons that we don't need to get into right now. Anyway, so
How are they
Palpatine.
not seeing the battle droid who was just chilling over there killing all
They were
of
focused
them?
on shooting other people, Joshua.
Oh, I'm stunned.
So this is how the game played, said Hyper Emmy Nashi. To be fair, Josh was playing and he doesn't know what he's doing. But honestly, I'm not going to defend it too much. This is about what normal gameplay, this is what high-level gameplay of Battlefront 2 looks like.
Yes.
Unless you're a Jedi.
I am clearly MLG at this
Unless
game,
you're a
yes.
Jedi. Jedi looks pretty different. If you know what you're doing as a Jedi.
Okay,
But
if I go through that door, I'm gonna die. So let's
That's
go through this
correct.
door. Ah!
Better idea. Next time, you have a grenade launcher.
I thought I
You could have shot the grenade launcher against that wall and bounced
Oh,
those
that's
shells in there.
crazy.
You probably would have gotten kills. You had the impact grenade, which detonates on impact, but the
Oh,
grenade
okay.
launcher bounces off walls.
Okay.
So you could have fired it
do that.
against that wall and bounced grenades in there
Oh,
and killed
cool.
those guys.
Okay.
Just as a point of reference.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Joshua's never played this game before. Never played it before. Anyway, so Palpatine Palpatine and the First Order now have a fleet of Star Destroyers that can blow up any planet. So, Poe and everybody, they're back. Rey's off again. She ran off to potentially exile herself. So basically, all the Resistance say, okay, we need to, like, while all of these ships are localized before they take off, we need to get over there and just blow them up. Our working theory is that so much energy is being routed through these giant Vegna guns that if we shoot them, it will cause the power systems of the Star Destroyer to overload, and it will self-destruct. So the real reason these cannons have been introduced is because they want to make the final battle in all of Star Wars. I would recommend aiming right here.
Okay.
Then it's gonna bounce down the
Yeah,
corner.
You're right. It did nothing, Jacob.
Well, listen, man. I don't know what to tell you. You only fired the one. Firing 3 is a better idea.
Honor.
The real reason that those cannons exist is because really they said, how do we make the final battle of the main core Star Wars the biggest and epicest?
Oh my
well, then
God.
it needs to have the most ships.
It needs to have 1 million Death Stars.
1
guys.
million troops. I don't know. I don't even think it's about the Death Stars, honestly. I don't think that, like, they even considered, like, oh, this cannon can blow up planets. I don't think they even cared about that. I
Yeah.
think they just wanted to have 1 million ships. But how do we make that fight manageable? They all have to have a big weak point. Well, what would justify the bad guys putting a big weak point on their ship? What would be worth it? A cannon that can blow up planets. I think that's the beginning and ending of the thought process.
Gotcha.
Is we need a fight with 1 million ships, but we need the fight to, like, make sense visually for the audience, and we need the heroes to be able to win. So the ships need weak points. Why would the enemies put weak points on their ships? The biggest gun. That's why it happened. That's why the ending of that movie happened that way.
Oh, it already put me in another match. I didn't even press matchmake.
Oh, if you just sit here, it goes automatically.
Oh, I got you.
It always says traveling to planet for game mode. It just does it automatically
Got
unless
you.
you back out.
I'm fine. I like the Naboo map. It's the only one I've seen because I looked at you play the The beta.
The Naboo map is kind of fun, but once you get inside the palace, it's a huge mess.
Oh, yeah.
On Blast, which is team deathmatch, it's a lot of fun. On this mode, where there's like 50 people on both teams, or however, 30 people on both teams,
Yeah,
20 people.
it's just really
it's a huge mess because it's like
Yeah.
it's these tiny rooms with like 2 doors in each.
And so it's basically like Normandy. Every time you enter a room,
Yeah,
it's
precisely.
like the beginning of Saving Private Ryan.
But anyway, so basically the Resistance say we're gonna fly out there and we're gonna go blow up all these Star Destroyers. Meanwhile, Rey has gotten her pep talk from Luke, who explains the point of The Last Jedi, but it reads like an apology for The Last Jedi. I didn't really articulate that clearly. That's the point. Is like that scene is meant to be an apology for The Last Jedi, but all it actually does is articulate the point of The Last Jedi for people who did not understand what was happening in The Last Jedi. It's bonkers.
Why are we shooting? Oh, let's.
You
kill
aren't. All those civilians run away.
Die, Jedi. Oh, I'm getting hit.
Yeah, no, you're in the line of fire
Oh, God.
immediately on this one. You're just so far away that
Once
you're
I
unlikely to
firing
actually
squad
get
all of
killed.
them. Ah.
Anyway,
I'm gonna go ahead and heal.
you can still be shot here. They can shoot under it with
Shut up.
someone with a sniper rifle can shoot you from there, just
Shut
as a
up.
point of reference. Anyway, so yeah, so when the enemy team picks up ion disruptors, the idea is you want to hunt them down and kill them to stop them from putting fire on the MTT.
Tons of damage to the MTT.
The ion disruptor doesn't do damage; it just makes it vulnerable to take
Okay,
damage.
I got you. Oh, he's launching it right now.
Yeah, remember ion weapons
I didn't even know how it worked. If I yeah, I remember ion weapons. I played Empire at War. I remember.
Ion weapons are energy
Oh
disruption.
my God, there's so many.
In Star Wars, well, yeah, they all rushed at you. They were all covering that guy.
I mean, yeah.
There was no one else on that right flank with you.
Yeah, it's like, why did no one else go for that guy?
It doesn't. Anyway, so the Resistance all say we're gonna go blow up the fleet before they have the opportunity to leave Sith planet. Meanwhile, Rey and Kylo Ren, having had pep talks from their ghost dads, head out.
literally what
to go-
happens.
They both get a pep talk from their ghost dad.
Why are there so many people over here and I'm the only guy on this flank?
They both get a pep talk from their ghost dads, and they head out to go and kill the
Destroy
Emperor.
turret. Thank you. Okay, cool.
The big space battle.
Okay.
The Resistance.
Bad guy.
The Resistance, as we've talked about before, the biggest disrespect to Luke Skywalker is that his sacrifice didn't mean anything, and the Resistance only has like
Correct.
10 ships.
Correct.
So basically, they put out an open call frequency to all people in the galaxy, saying, "Hey, the Emperor
final battle is about
the
to
final
happen.
battle is about to happen. We need your help to stop him before they can overrun the galaxy." Which isn't like a terrible idea for an ending.
I'm okay
it's
with
just
that. But it kind
it
of
defeats the purpose of
the
what.
last
Yeah,
movie.
again, like if you're like, oh man, the Last Jedi was so disrespectful to Luke Skywalker. This is infinitely more disrespectful. Anyway,
No.
so I wouldn't have even minded if they already had a fleet and they just needed more. If they already had a big fleet and they were just like, hey,
that would've
anybody
worked.
else who can
those
help
are civilians
would be
over
good.
there. I was like, well, you can go on that bridge.
Yeah, there's civilians on this map. This is the
Okay,
only
cool.
map that I know of where there's civilians that persist. Some of the maps have civilians run away, like
I can't even-
at second 2.
Come on. Okay, I might die. we
There are
go.
some maps that have that guy died. That yellow dot
Yeah,
over there.
yeah,
that turned
I
it,
see
he
him, I
didn't
see
make it
him.
back fast enough. There are some maps that have civilians that run away at the beginning, but you can't see them again ever again. But you can see civilians on this map for a while. There are also on Endor. There are some Ewoks who are just like passive and running around, which is really confusing because there's also Ewok enemies in the game.
Nice.
I think it's because the Ewok enemies were added later, so they weren't taken into consideration when the map was designed. You got your grenade launcher. Trust me, your grenade launcher is amazing, and it
Okay.
recharges fast because I've fully upgraded it. You just also fire one at yourself, but that's okay.
It's fine. Friendly fire ain't a thing in the Vidya game.
You just
Oh.
killed yourself.
Oh yeah. I see that. See, this is what happens. This is why I don't. That's why I play shooters on PC because I suck at controller shooters.
King Crowbow points out we have literal ships called Star Destroyers, but at no point does anyone actually destroy a star.
Correct.
One star gets destroyed in Star Wars.
Oh my gosh, no one is matched for Droidica.
You're wrong. Star Killer Base is powered with the force of a sun.
Okay.
A sun is destroyed in The Force Awakens by Star Killer
Wait,
Base.
how do I go faster?
I don't know. I've never once played as the Droidica.
they are no
Try
match-
sprint. Try pressing
Oh
sprint.
yeah, I'm a dumbass.
I have never
No match for Droidica.
I have never once played as this because I've played other specialized units and I was like, I can't. This is too funky.
Oh,
Excuse me.
oh, no one is matched for Droidica.
So Rey goes to fight Palpatine, and Kylo Ren is behind her, and he has a moment that I honestly loved that people clown on for some reason that I don't understand. When he shows up and he's getting in there, there's like this huge underground Sith temple, and he can't use the elevator because he's not supposed to be there. So he jumps onto a big chain
And he goes, ow.
and botches the landing and goes, ow. And for some reason,
I
people
thought that was good.
people meme on that, and I'm like, in this movie that has been moving so fast that it has almost no
It's like,
time for
that's just
anyone
a
to be
slow,
like
dry bit of humor, yeah.
to
I'm
have
kinda
this
with you on that.
this moment where this dude who's who's been flipping around and doing all these stuff for these last 3 movies is just like
Obi-Wan Kenobi, no match for droid. Oh no.
wait, this doesn't make sense. You're no match for Droidicons.
Yeah, you ran away from Droid.
He used the power of super speed editing to run away before. Anyway, I honestly like that moment when he that was one of the jokes in the movie that I actually liked. I was like, that was cute. I thought it was cute when he jumped on and just went. That felt very Nathan Drake, like very just self-deprecating. Like these characters are actually human beings. Anyway, so Rey goes to. So what happens in space doesn't matter. The good guys win. Reinforcements show up and they win. Finn is given something to do for a couple of seconds.
On a space llama.
Rose gets to appear for another 5 seconds, and then she's banished back to ethnic jail.
Oh my god.
Joshua,
Wait, where's my reticle?
you do know that her.
Where's my reticle?
I don't know, dude.
What the hell?
You do know that her Wikipedia page got defaced to say that she was from Chingchong,
Yes, I
China,
saw that.
and all this other stuff.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Man, Star Wars fans are strange. Yeah, why do I not have a reticle?
I don't know. Try switching to the other weapon. Switch to your grenade launcher and then switch back from it.
Okay, how do I switch back?
R1 again.
Okay.
There you
Okay,
go.
there we go. I got a reticle now.
Just a glitch. Just glitched out a little bit there. It is possible there are debuffs you can use against enemies to turn off their reticles, but it doesn't last for forever, and I didn't know why. Like nobody had done that to you, so it was just a glitch.
This is nice. We got the ion thing like right here.
It
Oh,
respawned.
it respawned. Oh, never mind. I was like, this is a great location to defend from.
Eventually,
But like,
when the MTT moves far enough down the field,
Palpy and Luke are fighting.
when the MTT moves far enough down the field, the ion disruptors respawn further back because the clone spawns are further
sense,
back.
makes sense.
Yeah. So you can camp the ion disruptors for a little while, but not indefinitely.
gotcha. Where did Luke go? He is no match for Droid.
If Palpatine is a fan of 40K, do you think clones exist because he plays orcs? It's possible. I don't know.
Maybe.
I've always thought I agree with Palpatine. Sorry, with the Plinkett take of like, why can't the clones just be some things that were birthed from the goo?
Evil magic,
He
yeah.
shows footage of orcs from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
In my head, the clones should have been the
Those
bad
guys. Yeah.
and they should have been just weird, pale, gross men who are like these. Because like it should be like cloning is an imperfect process, and they're just gross weirdos. Like to me, like you don't need that way. You don't need thousands of star systems to secede. It can be that the separatists are
Control, like, a few.
reinforcing their army with droids and clones to create an overwhelming numbers, which causes the Republic to have to instate a draft. I've thought a lot about how I would rewrite the Star Wars prequels, guys. I'll talk about it some other day.
No match for Droidica. This is my favorite thing in Star Wars, guys, is the Droidica. And how no one is matched for them.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does a single droidicus show up in Phantom Menace after their introduction scene where they scare off the Jedi?
Yes, in the ending battle, some show up, I believe.
Right, because there's a point where one doesn't have a shield on, and Jar Jar's doing his Three Stooges routine, and he accidentally...
Oh, you are no match for Droidica!
And he accidentally shoots one, and it kind of crawls around like a wounded spider for a second. I remember that.
No, they're also in the palace.
Right, they roll up and they deploy, and
they
that's
have to run away.
and
yeah.
okay,
And
right.
they ran away.
No, I don't think they even run away. I think that Anakin blows them up with the Naboo starfighter.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
the
Right.
Naboo.
They roll up and they're holding up
I'm just
the
gonna
good
sit
guys.
here. Maybe no one will see me.
Yeah, you're like Solid Snake. You're blending in with the environment. I'm a box.
Where'd you go? I was going to
He's on your
shoot
right.
you with my Droidica laser.
That's an ARC Trooper.
There.
you helped that guy
he
kill
was
him.
no match. It's my favorite line from the entirety of Star Wars, dude.
They are no match for droidicas.
Immediately just run away.
uh,
They never show up again either.
are they in episode 2 and 3
I
at
think
all?
they're in 3, mate. Are they?
I think they're in the arena in 2 for like a half a second, but again, none of them use shields because George was like, "Oh, it's too overpowered."
Oh, it's OP. Unless you do the.
I made an undefeatable enemy.
Unless you do a double jump and then like go do the bring down attack on them and it immediately destroys their shields if you're playing Lego Star Wars.
I accidentally made a standard grunt who's unkillable. Oh no, I've completely screwed up the meta of my D&D campaign. Anyway, I
That's
meant to
fine.
just scare the protagonists away, but then it turned out, wait a second, hold on. These guys are undefeatable.
It's fine. Oh, yes. Yes.
Norwega says, Jacob, unironically, do you agree that the droidica are cool? The design's awesome. They're super
design is
cool.
super cool, guys.
Listen, man, I will
That's
never...
why I love them.
I'm never gonna say that the Star Wars prequels don't have cool aesthetics, just that they use those aesthetics in absolutely insano, absurd clown
keep
shoes
blasting
ways.
this door.
It's actually
I
not a
mean,
bad
it's
plan.
working.
It's not a terrible plan.
It's working.
I wonder if is your second gun actually? Yeah, I don't know if your second gun is making contact
see.
with that wall or not.
Let's see. It's a tri-shot. It's just a, I think.
I think your second gun may be hitting the wall, but your right gun isn't.
No, it wasn't. And like I was getting feedback when it was.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, weapon to surpass droidica. Yes, they are in the Clone Wars, but the Clone Wars, you know,
I'm playing
they
the
get more time to
objective
use
somehow
them.
by just standing here.
I guess you're doing suppressive fire on the enemy. I have no
Maybe.
idea.
Great attack. I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna hide behind a pillar in my natural
I
state.
think great attack is you completed a phase extremely quickly and suffered almost no casualties.
But it's fine because no one is matched.
You're not gonna both be able to do
the
this. At the same-
droidica, back up, other droidica.
Well, he got destroyed, so you should have waited for his
no.
shield to go away and then
his
deployed
shield
your shield.
no, him blowing up destroyed my shield, I think.
Okay.
It's fine, I'll just hide here. How is this destroyer form? It doesn't do anything in this form.
No, you're switching to destroyer form when you press that.
Am I? Oh. It all makes sense now. The destroyer droid cannon.
It's like how in
Han
it's like
Solo is also no match for droid.
it's like how in
These
FF
things are so OP. Why did you never play them?
because I figured they'd be too wacky and technical and I didn't want to mess with them. Look, in PS2, 3, Xbox,
so bad.
the droidicas in that were terrible.
The freaking super battle droids were incredible in that. Because they had
Watch those wrist rockets.
They had one weapon that like literally never ran out of ammo, which was great. Because
I would have waited for
you
your
would go on,
shields to
like,
regen,
80
but that's
kill
okay.
You would go on like 80 kill streaks in that game if you were playing single player.
You got a Jedi to your right. He's coming right at you.
Obi-Wan is also the only one who is actually matched for droidica. Oh no.
You almost killed him, man. You almost killed him. He had full health when you started shooting
another
at him.
droidica. I'm getting good at this game, guys. All you guys can just shut up. Look at this.
The thing is, you don't not earn battle points when you're playing as special
I
units.
know,
so
so I
once
can
you
just
get
chain
one, if
it,
you do
yeah.
well enough, you can just keep playing as them.
Where are they at? Where are the bad
Use your
guys
radar.
at?
The radar indicate you have motion
Oh,
sensors
yeah, I
like from
see it.
Halo that indicate directions they're coming from, in addition to actual
That's
blips on the
handy.
radar.
Let's roll out of here. I need to just be on like one of the flanks, otherwise I'm not gonna actually be helpful. Because
That was an Ewok. Or a BB-8. That's BB-8. You're
Where?
getting right behind you.
Oh, BB-8, you bastard!
Droid versus droid.
Come
Chase him
back
down.
here!
Yeah. Get him. Oh, you won. You
Oh,
good.
never mind.
You kicked there. You steamrolled them.
Don't worry, they were no match. Oh, that was so broken.
No, Norway, I agree. The concept of a turret-esque robot that moves at breakneck speeds but switches to being unmovable and unhittable is very cool. No, I agree. It is neat. It is neat.
Your stupid face.
I have come from the Sith spa. So speaking of Palpatine, Rey and Kylo Ren go to confront Palpatine.
19 kills and only 5 deaths.
So,
17 assists.
at this point, we get to possibly the worst understanding of the
59
Star Wars
eliminations.
meta in the history. No, not in the history of Star Wars. The worst understanding of the Star Wars meta in the sequels, minimum, where they could not figure out how to make the fight between Rey and GLaDOS interesting.
Yeah.
Because she has a lightsaber and Palpatine is GLaDOS now. So, like, how do you make that fight interesting?
How was I near the bottom with night? Wow, this team must have.
So they
really
went to
sucked.
that old standby from the movie Return of the Jedi, where Palpatine says, "If you strike me down,
You will become a ghoul.
your journey to the dark side will be complete. If you strike me down
literally
now,
just reverse psychology.
if you strike me down now in anger, your journey to the dark side will be complete."
He's like, please kill me.
There's a good tweet about it, just being reverse. It's just Palpatine is BSing reverse psychology to try and wait. What are you talking about? You kill me, you'll be evil. I am all the Sith. What are you talking about? So first of all, the ending of Return of the Jedi is sloppy anyway. The third act is good, but the whole like if you kill me, then your journey to the dark side will be complete was already like weird. It only works from the character standpoint of Luke's objective at this point is actually to be better than Obi-Wan and Yoda, who both said, dude, you probably just need to kill Vader. And he's like, I really don't want to, though. I really think that I could not if I just tried. So building his character around trying to resolve the situation peacefully, if at all possible. Because his whole plan in Return of the Jedi was basically just to stall and die.
Jacob, I'm gonna need you to, in a minute here, you're gonna have to start playing Yub Nub on Luke.
I'm not gonna play Yub Nub.
I'm gonna play as the Ewok as soon as
I'm not gonna play Yub Nub.
Yub Nub.
You can't play Yub Nub anymore. It's not in the movie anymore, dude.
Well, yeah,
because they replaced it with whatever the other one is.
Yubnub.mp3. It exists somewhere.
The like the ending of Return of the Jedi. There's too many of these names. The ending of Return of the Jedi is already sloppy.
They all have R's in them.
They all have a lot of R's in them. But it's at least like so this is similar to last time. You have to use ion disruptors to break their shields and then do damage to them.
I'm seeing that.
And then basically, if someone's really good with the snow speeder, they can like insta kill one. But I've only seen it happen once in my time with this game.
Oh, okay. I accidentally meleeed. Didn't know there was melee in this game.
Press the stick to melee. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna sit in a trench like World War I. Wait, there are tauntauns? Oh, yes, my favorite thing. Oh, that's bad guy.
Oh, he's bad guy.
No. I just wanted a tauntaun, guys.
But like the whole thing of like, it's like Luke's plan was essentially just to distract and stall until the Death Star got blown up. And then that just changed because he got mad and he got into a fight. But that ending's really weird. Like his plan was for the Emperor to die anyway, so why not just kill him? Like
see, for me that was dumb.
No, I agree. I'm saying that it's bad. I'm saying that it's not well done.
That was the thing I never liked.
That guy is about to shoot.
No, he's not.
You can use the minigun when he's exposed. Like he's not exposed anymore, but when they are exposed like that, use the minigun. You can do more damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know how long he was going to be exposed for, so I just wanted to get my hits in.
No, that's fine. But the minigun takes like 3 seconds or so to spool up.
Oh, that's a sniper. Damn it.
Basically, the minigun works is if you're holding down aim, it's spooling.
Okay. I got you.
And then if you just hold down trigger, it has to spool up first. It's very similar to the heavy from TF2 actually, where you can hold down a button to be spooling.
You always got to get the gun that doesn't make sounds if you spool it, so you just walk around a corner and just start destroying people.
So anyway, my point that I'm getting at is that the ending of Return of the Jedi was also stupid. So I want to be very clear when I said that the ending of Rise of Skywalker is stupid.
Oh, that was a bad guy.
It's stupid for the same reasons that it's not as extreme, but it's stupid for similar reasons. It takes a lot. It's basically it decides to take the stupidest part of the ending of Return of the Jedi and transplant it into this and emphasize the stupidity.
Yeah, because it's the best, actually.
Anyway, so Rey runs in to Palpatine's room, and he's on his GLaDOS crane, and he says, "Ah, Rey, if you kill me, you will absorb all of the Sith." And you're like, huh?
And she's like, what?
She's like, what?
That doesn't make any sense,
That doesn't make any sense. If you kill me, my spirit will flow into you. You will become a Xehanort. Strike me down, Terra. It's basically that. But it's an orbital strike.
What's an orb?
What do you mean, what's an orbital strike? You got hit with an orbital strike. Don't go towards it. Boom, 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 boom,
I didn't
boom,
know
boom,
where
boom,
it
boom,
was.
It was right in front of you. It was all the lasers hitting the ground right in front of
I
you.
only saw one laser.
There were like 20 lasers hitting the ground right in front of you, and then you walked into them.
This is horrible. I hate this game.
You could play a different mode. Strike and extraction or blast are much more conventional.
No, that's fine.
Strike and extract are basically like single flag CTFs. And blast is TDM.
Yeah, I should probably play TDM then.
It's easier to figure out how the game works when you're playing that.
Yeah, the only shooter I've played recently is Due Process, which I will plug Due Process for anyone in the audience, because holy crap, it's good.
World War I Trench Wars would have ended much faster if they had tauntauns. No, they had horses, and they made the whole thing last longer. Yeah. They killed the horses. The horses got people killed, and they made the whole thing last longer.
Oh, I got hit by the thing.
You got hit by the thing? The radar room, Mega Man.
The radar room, Mega Man.
Good job. See, there you go. Did decent damage with that. That one's almost dead, isn't it? Oh, no. It's only got a quarter gun.
But they're only halfway
gun.
there.
Yeah,
I mean, we're only at 73%, so that's not good. Ooh, a missile launcher.
No. That 73 up there is their reserves. If you deplete that...
okay. No, never mind. I was going to go get that
If you deplete that 73 before they complete their next objective, then
Yes!
That's how you win. Okay, you may want... Hold on, go back. Hit O. Hit O. Quick. No. You play as the character, but hit O. Trust me. Hold down triangle to view abilities. You gotta know what he does first.
No.
Throw Wisties. Hailing from the force moon of Endor, these fierce sprites will disrupt and burn nearby enemies. Hunter Instincts will allow them to uncover and single out weakened enemies. And Valiant Horn does a damage resistance and improves the strength of your attacks for a short time.
Okay, so I have a Molotov. I can raise
Molotov
defense.
doesn't do damage, it's a stun.
Okay, Molotov is a stun. I can raise something, and I have a radar. Yep. No.
Now, you may want to try and fire that bow first before you actually get into combat.
Oh lord, that's horrible. I
No,
love it.
fire it. Actually fire it.
I will shoot.
You didn't shoot it.
Wait, I didn't?
No, you did not. Because you have to draw the bow.
Oh, okay.
However, if you have Hunter's Instinct on, he will auto-target enemies, and you can just press it to attack
Wait,
things.
1 second. Let me shoot an ATST with a freaking bow. Okay, that's
You're getting
Orbals.
killed by an orbital strike, yes.
Yub, nub. This is horrible. Why is this not play like a droideka?
Yosh Kapoor says he just took his hardest final. Well, at least it's behind you. At least it's behind you, man.
It was probably like differential equations or something.
Math.
Yeah, it's always math, dude.
Or law.
Or law. Law's not fun.
I don't remember if my law final was hard, but the final bit of work that I had to do was law.
No,
For law was pretty hard.
I mean, yeah, no, I have law this semester. Not fun. I'm okay at law. I just hate doing it. Oh my! No! Don't kill the children. Okay, yeah, I got the least amount of points as Yup Nope.
I told you.
That was so horrible.
They're only good in small environments where enemies are clustered together, I think.
Okay.
Like, they're really no good in this type
I don't
of
like
phase.
this map. There's like no cover anywhere.
I agree. The Hoth map in the first game that I played in the
Yeah, it
beta
was
was
great.
superior to this.
I'm also like expecting that map. So it's like I keep looking for like corridors to go to.
The interior of this, the next
behind me?
phase,
Okay.
the actual interior of Echo
This
Base
is
is fine.
horrible.
The Echo Base map is fine.
I am not
which you
a
would see if you
fan.
were playing Blast or Strike/Extract.
I'm just gonna sit here for a minute.
Yeah, Strike/Extract is usually either single flag CTF or
It's like all the enemies are too-
like
I should
sabotage.
have picked a sniper because all these enemies are too far away for me to actually.
You can
hit.
pick a sniper if you want.
I mean, it's too late now.
Do it next time.
Yeah, I will. Oh well, next time. There we go. There's some damage.
King Crow Bro says, is Kingdom Hearts just Star Wars with a brighter color palette? No, things happen in Star Wars, generally speaking.
Dang.
Even the Star Wars prequels, things happen in them. Not a ton, but a couple of
Boba
things
Fett.
happen.
Boba Fett, where?
One of the reasons why Star Wars Episode 2 is the worst Star Wars movie is because the least amount of things happen in it.
I disagree with that statement. Phantom Menace has the least amount of stuff happen.
I would say things happen in the Phantom Menace.
I honestly like Phantom Menace more than Attack of the Clones. I would say I like that movie more than most.
Joshua,
but it's
remember
still
there's like, I don't know, there's so much of the Phantom Menace. I mean, sorry, of Attack of the Clones where just nothing goes anywhere. And I like the entire Coruscant segment of Phantom Menace.
No, please.
The entire Coruscant segment of the Phantom Menace, nothing happens. But, like, when they're on Naboo, like, there is forward momentum of things being done. The Tatooine section is forward momentum of things being done and change-ups along the way. And then when they go back, there is forward momentum of things being done. The reason that it's boring for the most part is, other than on Tatooine, they say, let's go do this now, and then they spend the next 10 minutes of the movie doing
Where am I
it.
going?
You're
Oh.
inside of Echo Base now. They've gotten to
this
this phase.
looks like an actual
Doesn't
video
it?
game.
No, dude, the map design of this game is, like, atrocious for 50% of the maps.
I was like, there was no cover. I was just running forward, and there's just a 50-50 chance the AT-AT blows me up.
Darth Vader, when he learns that Ewoks were kicking the Empire's ass. Now you understand why I had to kill the younglings.
Oh, what's this guy doing? Why is he just shooting me?
He's waiting. The door isn't open yet.
Oh.
You have a few, like, minutes of prep phase, basically.
Oh, so this is the door opening?
The door will open shortly.
Okay, I'm just gonna wait then. I thought maybe this room was pointless.
No, so you're standing on one of the points right now.
Oh, I
Just
am?
Yeah, see?
Oh,
You're saying
nice.
it says defending West
Man, I'm
Hangar.
so
You're
good
at
at
the
this
West
game,
Hangar
guys.
point. Is the other point already open, maybe? I don't know, because I hear gunfire happening. Maybe the other objective, like, the door's already open.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, weird. I thought the store just
Oh,
opened,
wait.
but no, that just means they're out there. Somebody's marking them, or they're revealing themselves. Somebody's doing some kind of radar
So
thing.
should
that's
I
going on.
not guard this room?
I would say move. Whatever. The door's not open.
Oh, Kyle!
Nobody's
win.
here. Maybe they know something I
It's
don't.
freaking Kyle.
Kyle Katarn,
Kyle Katarn. No!
Space
no,
Dad,
please!
Space Beard Dad.
Literally. Oh man, those FMV games are beautiful, and I love them all.
Ugh. Anyway, so Palpatine says, Rey, if you kill me, you'll turn into a ghoul, and this is just because they knew that they couldn't do a fight scene with him. So they had to figure out something. So there's tension on, oh no, Rey can't kill him
somehow. Oh, Tauntaun! Oh!
So there's a really weird sequence where she and Kylo Ren fight other people, and then they both face off against the Emperor, but it's like nothing has changed. They can't kill him. But then he does force push on them, and then he starts to do lightning on them, and then Rey reflects the lightning back, and since it was friendly fire, it doesn't count as killing him, so he blows up, and he's dead. Then at this point, Rey dies, and then Kylo Ren uses the pre-established healing power from earlier in the movie. Basically, the implication is that it works like the laws of alchemy. There has to be an equal and opposite transfer of power. So in order to bring someone back to life, he has to...
You mean the conservation of mass?
No, the laws of alchemy.
You mean the way that force works in the world?
The laws of alchemy.
From
The laws of alchemy from Full Metal Alchemist, dude.
Oh, okay. I've never seen Full Metal Alchemist.
In order to
Brotherhood eventually.
In order to bring somebody back, like basically the reason that you can't bring somebody back to life is because you'd have to die to do it.
Yeah.
Equal
and opposite force.
And even then, bringing somebody back to life in the world of basically you can't do it's like the law of, it's called like the law of equal exchange or something like that in Full Metal Alchemist.
Why am I the only one in here?
Like in order to make anything in Full Metal Alchemist, you have to exchange something of an equivalent of value to the thing you want to make. And you can't do, I don't think you can even bring people back to life, like, period. That's one of the huge things. People try to do that and it doesn't work. That's how the main characters wind up so messed up. That's why one of them is inside of armor and one of them is missing an arm. The brother who's inside of armor is basically, his entire body was literally destroyed, and the other brother was barely able to graft his soul onto a suit of armor.
Spoilers.
That's like episode 1. That's not plot. That's not spoilers. That's episode 1. Anyway, yeah, so Rey reflects the lightning back, kills him. She dies. Kylo Ren sacrifices himself to save her. And that's basically the end of the movie. That's basically it. Like I said, like it was a long time to get there because the MacGuffin hunt is so complicated. What's actually happening in the movie is pretty simple. And if anybody showed up in the last, bit here, because it took us so long to get through that.
Yeah, Jacob wanted to summarize the entirety of The Last Jedi for God knows what reason.
No, not the Rise of Skywalker. Somebody said I didn't see it because I knew someday Jacob would summarize it, and then I thought, oh, why not summarize it? I'll go ahead into the whole thing. That's the movie, basically. I may have forgotten some stuff, but I really don't like I said, I talked about earlier. I get what they were going for with the force heal and exchange of life. Like it feel like I can see what they were trying to do to thematically wrap up the entire movie and how it wraps back around to how this whole mess got started with what Anakin was trying to do. It just wasn't executed very well. Like it was an interesting idea executed poorly. When I hear people say that the Star Wars prequels are interesting ideas executed poorly, I roll my eyes super hard because it's like, what was the interesting idea? That Anakin was a good guy who turned evil? Like every other idea in those movies is bad.
Space trade was a great idea, especially taxes, even though they own all of space. So
I don't know what the idea was that was good but executed poorly, other than Anakin being good and turning bad. But with Rise of Skywalker, I can at least see a handful of ideas that were decent. That I was like, that could have been good if they know what they were doing. And then similarly, as I've said before, I like The Last Jedi because I think there are a bunch of ideas in it that are executed well. There are also a lot of ideas that I think are good ideas that were not executed well, which is why it's a mixed bag, okay movie. Not my favorite ever. It has some parts that I really, really like. Some other parts that are not so great, but that's okay.
At all.
And then Solo isn't really aiming for anything. It just wants to be a fun adventure movie. And guess what? It was a fun adventure movie, so I like Solo. And I still haven't seen Rogue One in its entirety, so I really can't pass any judgment on it. Or I can pass some judgment on it, but I don't want to go into a whole spiel about that when I haven't seen the full film. So.
Yeah, now that's actually like a corridor shooter, I can kind of play it.
The Fury Wraith says, "Good idea, droidicot. The toys don't count. The toys do not count as good ideas."
That's fair.
The prequels have. I said in the
They're incredible toy commercials.
I said in the Fallen Order playthrough.
Oh, it's a ghoul! I'm just gonna hope he doesn't see me.
You're in overtime right now, by the way. Their time is up, but they're still contesting these hard points, so they can still push forward.
I was really hoping that the ghoul didn't see me.
This game is not like playing. This game makes me appreciate Call of Duty and Titanfall 2 so much. Because just like shooting the gun in those games feels so much better.
Yeah.
But this game isn't unfun. I've had fun playing this game where I wouldn't have played it as much as I have.
The only two shooters I've played recently are Warzone and and due process though, so this is quite a departure because the shooting in both of those games is quite good.
No, but I've said like you know the cool. I've talked about it in the Last Jedi play and in the Fallen Order playthrough. The military hardware of the prequels is really cool, and I will admit because I watched the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon at an impressionable age, and I watched the ARC Troopers doing the stuff that they did. I have a little bit of a science fiction military, you know, porn thing. Like I'm like, yeah, it's cool to see cool space military hardware. I like that kind of stuff, and that's why I appreciate, like I've said in that playthrough, that like the Lats are one of my favorite Star Wars ships, but I don't consider cool military hardware to be a good idea for a movie. Like that's not enough to sell me on something. Like no one, if you ask someone to talk about why, like think about this, right? The X-Wing and the TIE Fighter and the Star Destroyer are cool military hardware. If they had looked like, if they had looked lame, the movie still would have been good, you know? Like I don't think that the X-Wing is a good idea, you know what I mean?
Fair.
It could have looked like just a random you know, World War II. If they had put a World War II plane in space, you know what I mean? Yeah. If they had put a Spitfire in space with a weird paint job, that movie still would have worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like if the military hardware of the prequels had been boring, like
the movie would be boring.
I mean the movie is terrible, but it's like the only thing that's decent is like this military hardware looks okay.
I did better than I thought I did. I thought I was doing terrible.
Almost every match I've ever played of this is me afterwards looking at the scoreboard and going, I did better than I thought I did. Because it always feels like you're not accomplishing anything unless you are top player.
I was 14 and 14. I mean, that's not great, but I did have 8 assists on top of that.
The only time that I feel like I know that I'm doing good in this game is I'm playing as a clone commando and I'm blowing away 10 people in a row with a grenade launcher, then switching over to the Force Blast and knocking over a Sith, and then pumping 500 rounds into him. Yeah. There are times when I've discovered that I was doing quite well.
Oh, you're taking the controller back now?
Just temporarily. I agree. I'm gonna go to... No, you can still play. I'm gonna put you in a different mode.
Oh, okay.
Because those matches take forever. We can see a few more maps and a little bit more variety. Fair. Blast matches don't take too long, and you can see a lot more. There are some maps that are exclusive to like, the smaller... game modes because they're like contained.
I need to plug in my phone.
For example, there is a secondary Naboo map other than the main palace, which is the whatchamacallit, which is it's the hangar and the energy power room where the boss fight happens, right? Yeah. That you see that for the heroes and villains mode and nothing else. But actually, honestly,
you gotta get extra power in the starfighters mode. Look. You get 25 ships dead, you get extra power. Wait, you have a loot box.
You probably unlocked it. Probably because all this is now is, you got a weapon upgrade. You don't get, because everything's been removed from the loot box system.
Oh yes, please give it to me.
This is going to be an upgrade for the gun you were using probably, because you do not get. There are no weapon upgrades anymore.
Oh, cool.
So there are like the loot boxes, like and it never displays the image. What? I don't know why. It's glitched.
That's ew. That's nasty.
Is this looping or something?
Yeah, you're doing Under the Rotting Pizza again.
No, like it's like selected a section of the playthrough to loop. It's very strange of the playlist to loop. I don't understand why it's done this. It's not on shuffle.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Where's Blast at? There we go, Blast. I love Blast processing, guys.
Whatever. We're only gonna do like another match or two, guys. We're gonna wrap up here because we've been going for a little while. We need to probably conclude this adventure soon.
Still.
He has a digital final.
I have a digi final.
We got a message a few minutes ago about dinner being ready soon, so we're probably gonna be a little bit late anyway.
Speaking
at this point.
of law, got a digi law final tomorrow. Probably not gonna go very well.
JG says they did that in Doctor Who once with the Spitfire in space. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That sounds like something they do in Doctor Who.
Well, this is the thing. They either go to the future or they go to London during the Blitz. So they might as well do both at the same time.
Yes, correct.
God, do you remember when we were watching Foils War for the first time? And in episode 3, they were doing stunt sequences under a bridge with a Spitfire, and we were like, that's practical!
Yep.
This was shot in 2003, that's not CGI.
Yep, correct.
They did this.
Yeah.
That show's insane, dude. Foils War is the best police procedural, like, ever made, I think. I think it's my favorite detective show of all time.
And I'm really bad at this.
For those who are not familiar, there's a British television show called Foils War, which is basically about a detective working in a coastal city in England during World War II, and eventually after. It starts to bleed over a little bit into the Cold War, 'cause the show went on for a while.
It wasn't even because the show went on for a while.
Yeah, the show got canceled and then brought back.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
And it was done by, it was written and developed by Anthony Horowitz, who
Same guy who did Alex Rider.
Some of you may know because he did the young adult novels, the Alex Rider novels, which are kind of like the James Bond but with a kid type things. He's written a ton of stuff. The Horowitz lexicon is huge, and his range is huge. Because like I've read those Alex Rider books, and they're they're decent, like they're good young adult spy novels or whatever. But like it's like, okay, clearly he had the young adult limiters on, and he can take them off when he wants to.
And he's very good when he does.
Because Foyle's
take them
War
off.
is insanely good. It's so well written. The first episode, as you might expect, is a little bit.
It's
No,
it's the only episode where someone runs. That's the thing that always.
Yeah, by the end of the first episode, I was hooked, and in the beginning of it, I was getting a little bit weary. I distinctly remember because
I got worried at the exact same point.
There's a really weirdly long sequence of him just walking through this place and meeting with somebody.
I'm gonna die.
and then they do the thing that every police procedural ever does, which is somebody
I need
runs.
to talk to you.
Somebody runs, and then another character comes, or the backup character knocks them out when they go around a corner, and they arrest the character. And I was like, and that was one of the worst ones I've ever seen. And then the show goes on for 7 seasons, and there's not a single other time in the entire show
Where a
where
guy
somebody
runs.
runs from the cops. Like I think there's one time, but it's like a proper like gunfight. And there's a couple of other gunfights, but for the most part, it is just a dude doing proper detective work. There is some action. I shouldn't say there's no action, because there is some action, but they're under no obligation to do action once per episode or anything. There are some really good car chases. There are some really good gunfights, but there's also sometimes you go a whole season with no action beats.
That guy spawned on me, and just immediately we both died.
There's also that one time where that special operations guy breaks into like a torture facility, and that was like, where did this come from?
my God,
this
you're
is a great
right.
episode. But
was
every
like
episode of that show is good.
episode 4.
No, that wasn't episode 4. That was
wasn't?
later on.
Oh,
that was
okay.
later on in the show.
Where am I? Ugh! I love this. Let's go, gamers.
Foyle's War is
Melee
like
feels like
I haven't watched a lot of The Wire. I've only watched a bit of it. I've seen scenes from it. I know people hold that up as one of the best like police procedurals ever. Especially because it's barely after the first season. It's barely even a police
not even a
procedural.
police procedural for the most part.
Foyle's War is. I've watched a lot of police procedurals in my day. Foyle's War is probably my favorite ever. It's extremely good.
It's quite good.
And the production value on it of like the vintage vehicles that they whip out. You watch the behind the scenes and they're like, yeah, so we needed to do this scene in an airfield and we needed to have like, and so we have this truck here, right? It's what would be used to transport fuel during this time period and refuel military planes. And there's like 2 of these. There's 2 of these that still exist. And we got this out of a museum and we brought it down here to shoot this. It's a good ass show.
Man.
Good ass show.
Oh, that was a great spawn.
Yeah, it did used to be on PBS for a little while. I think that's how a lot of Americans saw it. We saw it on the DVD. The DVD. That's the Butterfield workout stuff.
Yeah, it's Butterfield.
Butterfield.
It's Ryan. It's
Brian
like,
Butterfield.
It's Brian. Yeah.
Order my new DVD. He talks about there's a workout regimen. What else does he sell? He sells a workout regimen.
The Butterfield diet.
The Butterfield diet. I think he has a store of a sporting equipment at some
the
point,
sporting
right?
Equipment store.
Those are all such great skits.
And look at me now.
And look at me now.
Like
I feel like a new man. I feel like a new man.
Okay, I did not know where they came from.
They come from everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Like I said, the map design in this game is not great. It is hard to tell where the bad guys are and where you are sometimes.
I'm too spaced out. They're everywhere.
We'll be stopping soon. We didn't play any of the Starfighter Assault mode today. We will be streaming this again, and we will play that Starfighter mode. Because that's like I said, I like the rest of this game decently.
Ugh.
That Starfighter mode is my favorite part of the game, easily.
I am not a fan of this game.
It's trust me, I had to hit my head against this game for a wall before I liked it.
Before a wall?
I had to hit my head against a wall for a while before I liked it. Like, It took me a while to figure this damn thing out.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just, you die too quickly.
No, dude, listen, I reinstalled...
The time to kill is way slower, and yet you die way more, and that's never a good thing.
I will say that, like... Listen, for the entire time that I've had this installed, I tried to have at least... You got hit by a flash grenade.
Oh.
There's guys right on top of you. There's guys to your left, and there were guys completely.
Oh my god.
There was a 180-degree coverage from your position of enemies there. That was why you were getting hit.
I was like, what?
They were literally everywhere, but directly behind you and to your right. That's just a little cubby. There's nothing
that's
back
what I'm
there.
doing.
Nothing back there.
That's why I went here.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Might as well have one side completely secure. Man, I played terrible in this round. These maps, I'm not a fan.
We're doing blast now, right? This is just TDM
Yeah,
here?
it's just blast. What did he say?
He said, "This is it. Then no more lives to spare, because you're down to
Oh,
you have sub 15 lives left as a team."
I love how the second I go out of the cubby hole, there's a guy to my left.
Pew 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 pew.
Not a fan. New objective. Wait, what was the objective before?
It's the same objective.
Then
The
why
objective didn't change
Then why did it say? What the?
because this game is poorly
The
designed.
hell?
We got shot from behind. It happens.
Why do I never spawn in behind anyone, Jacob?
They didn't. They flanked you.
I have a question. Is this one of those games where you run out of respawns and you lose, or you still stay on the field until you die?
Once you run out of respawns, you lose. You're gonna lose in about 5
Gosh.
seconds. There you go.
I hate those types of games.
Well, otherwise you get something really good like the multiplayer in The Last of Us, where one. Have you seen? I don't know if you've ever watched footage of Last of Us multiplayer originally.
I have. I watched the Let's Play of it. With
Of
The Last
Achievement
Gus.
Hunter.
Yeah.
So you can go and look up like Last of Us comebacks, and so the way that game works is it is like you have a set amount of team lives, and when your team lives are depleted, if you're still up, you're still alive, right?
Yeah,
There are
I like what games do that.
I'm the only guy left, and the opposite team has 20 lives, and people have 1. And watching that type of gameplay is insane. It is so cool to see. Anyway, folks, we probably need to be wrapping up here anyway. You should probably honestly go ahead and back
That was
out.
a terrible round to end it on. But
We'll do more of this. We'll do more of this. If you missed the previous stream's ending, we're going to be trying to do, if we aren't doing 2 episodes a week, we're going to try and maintain at least 2 videos on research runs a week for this next little bit here. I'm just behind on cutting LP stuff. As I talked about in the previous stream, for reasons I don't need to go into right now, the next episode of Jedi Fallen Order is just going to be a particularly complex cut. So I haven't really gotten around to it yet because I've been busy with other
Which
projects.
episode is that?
It's the episode at the beginning of session 4 where we did not hit record on the video. So we have a bunch of audio.
Oops.
I'm not going to try and re-edit. I'm not going to try and listen to our audio and replay the whole game and match what we did because that would be insane. But I am going to replay that section and at least get only to get the cutscenes and stuff.
Okay.
But I got to decide, am I going to replay it and do commentary over the whole thing, or am I just going to replay it and edit in the important bits?
Yeah.
I'm probably going to replay it and edit in the important bits, but regardless, it's just a time investment I haven't gotten to yet because I've been busy with other things. So in the meantime, while these things are stalled out a little bit, we're going to be compensating to make sure we have at least 2 videos a week with streams. We may do 2 episodes a week and also streams, now that streaming is mostly working again. So we will be there will be no episode of anything on Thursday because we will be streaming the Game Awards. That'll be in the evening.
It's day after tomorrow.
That's Thursday.
Yeah,
it's Thursday.
Thursday.
So Joshua and I will be streaming the Game Awards on Thursday. Next week, hopefully, the Sonic finale will air. Possibly the next episode of Jedi Fallen Order. Minimum, you will see 2 videos, even if it's just 1 LP episode and one of these. And hopefully we'll stream more stuff anyway, be it this or other
with
things.
all the crap Nintendo's been doing the last month, they better at least balance it out by showing Breath of the Wild sequel. Otherwise, we have been tricked, and they will pay for their crimes.
I really don't care. I'm gonna be upset at them. It's not, people are acting as if what's happening with them is new because it's not.
No, they've always been.
They always do this, and we're barely 2 months removed from the screwery of the limitedness of the 3D All-Stars collection, which is just an emulation
and the Fire Emblem thing.
Yeah, but that's not
Mario
as
30 whatever.
That's not as big of a deal.
I don't care. Anything that's on sale for a limited time in the gaming industry is wrong.
No, we can include it, but I specifically love the 3D All-Stars thing because it's literally, you can tell that it's emulated because it has problems that were glitches in Dolphin 5 years ago that have been fixed.
No, my favorite thing is that we're gonna release the first Fire Emblem in the States. And we're not even going to give it an upscale. It's just going to be the NES original that was fan-translated a decade ago.
Way before that.
Yeah, exactly. It was probably fan-translated before Melee came out. And then it was they, at least with the second one, they were we'll remaster it and make it you know, and remake it for the 3DS. This one's just like, we're gonna send it out in native and charge $8 for, or $6 for it.
They could have done a, instead of doing like a full-on 3 houses, they could have done a 3DS quality
Exactly.
Fire Emblem, like Tales of Valentia or whatever it was called, and Echoes, and done that for Switch.
Dude,
That would
I
cool.
wouldn't have cared if the graphics had been upscaled to like DS quality, as long as it wasn't NES.
They could have done both. Maybe they could do the NES one and then also do a remake later down the line.
I
don't
mean,
know.
I hope they do.
Who knows? Anyway, but yeah. So no, Nintendo will show up and they will hopefully show. I'm sure we will see either a Smash DLC character or a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. I mean, I don't know. It depends. I shouldn't say I'm sure, because Breath of the Wild 2 may still be like 3 years out at this point. We have no idea.
I really hope not.
No, that would be
sounds like
wild.
they're at least
but we'll see what
reusing
happens.
aspects of the last world, which makes me hope that they can get it done at least by 2022 at the latest. Because I mean, I understand it's an HD game. It's a huge game.
We'll see what
Making
happens.
that world takes a long time.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, anyway, we'll be watching the Jeff Awards on Thursday. Next week, like I said, gonna try and get the final episode of Sonic out. You're probably gonna see in the intervening time, even maybe this weekend. I don't know. We have no hard and fast plans. Again, my only statement is we're gonna do our absolute best to do at least 2 videos a week, even if those 2 videos are streams. We may do more. No promises though. Yeah, so we'll hypothetically do more of this. Hopefully do the Starfighter mode a bit, because I find that personally to be superior to the main gameplay content.
And I won't be playing, so don't worry about it, guys.
You can if you want.
Well, I'm guessing I'd be.
We can play in between
Starfighter.
streams and you can get good at it.
No.
Why not?
Why?
Because it's good, dude.
Why would I do that?
Well, I mean, I guess you could. How about this? Maybe you could learn Squadrons, which we also got, and then you can play that on stream, and I'll play this one on stream.
I could.
And we'll both know the 2 different types of Starfighter gameplay. You get the more technical one with the power control, and I get the more arcadey one with the star cards and the loot boxes. Anyway, I believe that's all for today. I don't think we have anything else to report at this exact moment in time. I'm working on new stuff for the main channel. Hopefully you're going to see a new video on the main channel next week. Hopefully Joey and I will finish filming a new playthrough this weekend. As I said on the last stream, we're hoping that our new LP will start airing before the end of the year. Start airing in January, hopefully.
You mean December?
In December. I just misspoke. We'll start airing hopefully in December. Probably not immediately after Sonic ends, but it'll start airing hopefully before the end of the month. And so then there will be that playthrough and Jedi Fallen Order ongoing. That's all we got for now, though, folks. So I'm going to change away from Hollow Skies, because if we let that play without us talking over it,
it's sad
then Square's going to be upset with us.
It's the best ending song to a stream, and it's a really good one.
There's other
but
good ones.
We will die.
But I will switch away from this song in just a moment here, and we will have to wrap up our stream there, boys and girls. What should I play for our outro? What would be a good track to play for our outro? Honestly, I like this track.
I was gonna pick a different one, but that's all right.
What the heck? What the heck? There are 88 songs on Up Next. Why is that? Clear songs. Whatever. I guess when I hit play next, it changed it to always go, like, it set up a new playlist of going in order. Why is this so complicated?
I was gonna pick.
I really shouldn't. What do you want to pick?
Nothing.
No, go ahead, pick.
No, it's fine.
No, sure. No.
I forget exactly which song this was. I was just gonna pick something from the Valkyria Chronicles soundtrack because I like that soundtrack. And you never use it.
I use it. It's in these playlists. I use it. I start streams with it every now and then. But I'm fine with doing Valkyria
I don't
Chronicles
watch
soundtrack.
the beginnings of your streams very often, so.
Okay. It's totally fine. Adios, everybody.
So yeah.